I'd be curious to see it. I would definitely be interested.
He's alleged to have killed somebody, a father, a husband, a CEO. People are saying that this is glorifying him as a defendant. The musical themselves say Luigi the Musical doesn't glorify violence, it interrogates it. It's also about, quote, examining how violence is not just the act of individuals, but of elite institutions like healthcare, Hollywood, and tech through their neglect, indifference, and lack of accountability.
Right now we're in a world of shock value.
It's art. People are allowed to make art how they want. That doesn't mean it's good or that you have to go see it.
That's nothing more than glorifying death, which should be ultimately shameful, and it should be boycotted.
Right. I wouldn't call that art. I'd call it disturbing.
Well,
my choice of word.
It's an extension of Hollywood.
Yeah.
And that's what I expect from Hollywood actors and the entire industry.
And also, I mean, just think about the family. Now both families, they have to see, you know, the worst day of both of these families' lives is now being memorialized forever in a sort of song and dance off-Broadway play that people are talking about and just making you feel even worse and worse and worse. I mean, it's gone too far. The whole hype around Luigi Mangione, him having a fan club around him, now a Broadway play, it's
terrible.
Gross.
And the thing is, Christina, I can't wait to see how liberals review this off-Broadway play.
Yeah.
What will they say? Because their character is on the line.
I'm sure it'll be very telling. I mean, but you said it right. This is Hollywood. This is how Hollywood reacts and how.
I'm Paulina Leiser. Join me as we explore the beauty and depth of Orthodox Christianity on the ancient church, Sundays on theDove TV.
Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on theDove.
Well, good morning to you and happy Friday. Yes, you think we're right in the middle of the 4th of July. We're not. Good morning, Paulina.
Good morning, but we have another day coming up. That's exciting.
Yes, it is. This is a subtle reminder that Sunday is Flag Day. And so if you have an American flag, fly it on Sunday is Flag Day. And by the way, there is flag etiquette. Are you aware of that?
I am aware, and the reason I'm aware of it because you remind us.
Oh, but
also, of
your
course,
citizenship thing.
Right.
Yeah.
But for the last 15 years that I've known you, I know you're very serious about it, and we should be.
We should be.
And so you've kind of mentioned points here and there. So thanks to you, I do know something.
Well, let me just say, if you don't know what it is, you can Google flag etiquette and it'll tell you. But there's a certain way to hang your flag. If you're going to face it this way, the stars and stripes the stars need to be up here. If you're going to hang it, it goes this way. And if you're going to leave a flag up all night, it has to be lit. It has to have a light on it. I mean, there's things that that we ought to consider in flag etiquette. But Sunday is Flag Day.
Yeah, it's actually a day that will be a flag day. It's President Trump's 80th birthday.
Yeah.
And it's the big UFC fight day on the White House lawn.
Yeah. Did you see what they did on one of the monument lawns last night?
No, Lincoln. No. I know that they're setting up some watch parties on some of them.
Yeah, this is really interesting because you got to, when you see it, I may be able to get a picture of it, but you can Google it and see it. Somebody on one of the mall lawns last night did 8647.
Oh, wow.
On the lawn. And if you're on the lawn, you won't see it. But if you're up above it, you'll look down and you'll see it. And I thought, the size of it is so amazing. You thought, are you telling me nobody caught anybody doing this?
Mm-hmm.
You know? And I think what they did is they took a mower and set it down a couple of notches so that grass was lower than the other grasses.
Right.
So you wouldn't see it looking out at it horizontally. So anyway, but Flag Day, make sure you fly your flag this weekend, Sunday, and make sure you do it correctly. Just a little update on Jerry. His surgery went well yesterday. And he comes out of surgery. He's yakking because he's hiring a kite. And he convinces the doctor in letting Pam drive him all the way home while he was under pain medication.
And they're not driving from Grants Pass to Medford.
No, they were driving from Seattle
another state.
home. So anyway, he's home doing well. That's surgery one. He's got another one ahead of him down the road here. But anyway, just a little report on Jerry fans. So anyway, good morning. How are you? Happy Friday.
Good, thank you. Well, today is National Loving Day, and as weird it may sound, it actually commemorates the landmark 1967 Supreme Court decision in the case of Loving versus Virginia, which struck down laws banning interracial marriage. So it's a day to celebrate love, commitment, and the freedom to marry the person you choose in terms of race. So that's when it happened. What does it be? Almost 67, how many years? Almost 60 years, right?
Yeah.
Okay, wow. Okay, also it's, let's see, which ones do we want to mention? National Peanut Butter Cookie Day. You like those?
I do.
Yeah, those are nice and could be crunchy, could be chewy and soft, but they always have this fork pattern that makes them so special. Peanut butter cookies have been a favorite American treat for generations, and it might be a perfect excuse to enjoy one with your morning coffee today.
Yes.
Or make a batch and bring it to the Dove. We like cookies here. It's also National Movie Night. Do you ever have movie nights? I mean, do you watch movies at home, or is it usually news and documentaries?
We'll watch something. Okay. I don't think we set one night aside to see it. I get pretty fuzzy past 7.
I know you do. Do you have a favorite movie?
Do I have a favorite movie? Oh, that's a great. That's a great question. Several. One of my movies that I really like is A Few Good Men. It's the courtroom scene.
Yeah.
That is so classic.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. There's others.
Here's, you can watch it I think, it's one of those movies you can watch and rewatch. And
Three Amigos.
Yeah. And have some jerky while you watch your movie.
Oh,
Today's National Jerky Day, celebrating one of America's favorite protein-packed snacks. Before I came here to the United States, I never had it. I'm sure now it's probably all over the world, but from traditional beef jerky to turkey, venison, and other varieties, jerky has been enjoyed for centuries as a flavorful and portable food for travelers, outdoorsmen, and snack lovers alike. So make some or just go and buy some.
There's plenty of it out there.
At every checkout station.
Yeah, there's plenty of it out there. There's plenty of varieties of it, I've had venison, I've had buffalo, I've had elk, and of course beef, but it has a lot to do how it's prepared. So it's good. It is good, and if you're driving long distances, you want to chew on some of that because it keeps you awake.
I hope Pam had some last night. She was driving Jerry
From what
home.
I understand, she's a NASCAR driver when she gets behind the wheel.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Anyway, good morning. Good stuff all the way around. Good morning to you. Let's check out the weather, and here's Alfred this morning.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunshine warms the region. Vancouver reaches 79, Portland and Wilsonville both top out at 80, and McMinnville checks in near 81. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny conditions continue with highs near 81 in Salem, sunny and 80 in Albany and Corvallis, and near 79 in Eugene, with overnight lows settling back into the low 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with Prineville pushing 83, Bend near 82, and Sun River around 81 this afternoon. Overnight lows cool back into the 40s while Boise stays sunny and warm with a high near 86. Along the Oregon coast, sunny skies in Coos Bay with a high near 70 down through Brookings near 66. Port Orford stays sunny and breezy in the mid-60s, while Crescent City turns sunny and breezy with highs near 70. In southern Oregon, sunny and warmer with highs climbing to 90 in Grants Pass and near 93 in Medford. Ashland reaches 88, while Klamath Falls tops out near 84 with lows tonight in the 50s. Northern California stays hot under sunny skies with Wairika climbing to 92, while Redding surges to 106 and Chico 103 under a heat advisory. Along the coast, Fort Bragg stays much cooler with highs near 62. Across the Bay Area, sunny conditions continue with highs in the upper 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco peaks at 75, while San Jose heats up to 94 with a heat advisory. Through Central California, triple-digit heat settles in with Sacramento near 100, while Stockton and Modesto climb to 101. Fresno and Visalia reach 102, and Bakersfield near 103 under heat advisories. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Well, it is simply a beautiful morning out there. I was just outside before the show. I came in and see that view? I just saw that. So that is looking to the north, almost due north off of Roxanne. So that tree, and then to the right of the tree, that's Mount McLaughlin, or better known as Mount Pitt. And then you see the sun coming up. And if you step outside the hangar door here and you look, you'll see that exact same shot, and it's beautiful. So the sun up, and you can see on the shiny, see on the barn over there, see how it's shiny?
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
You called it a barn?
Well, it's a big hangar. It's a barn for airplanes.
You country boy, you.
Yeah.
Well, Christians are not, it's not an unfamiliar concept to be called foolish in this world and to be misunderstood. We were told we will be. And this morning we want to bring you this clip from Pastor Billy Graham, who has a question. Are you willing to be fools for Christ?
The cross of Christ, no matter what the world may think of him or of me. We're fools for Christ's sake, willing for the world to look at us as out of our minds, willing to be accounted as the very offscouring of the earth because we've turned to Christ. Are you one of the devil's fools? Or are you willing to be a fool for Christ's sake? The Bible says in Proverbs 12, the way of a fool is right in his own eye. There is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Which road are you on? The narrow road that leads to eternal life, or the broad road that leads to destruction? You have to make a choice. The scripture says, choose you this day whom you will serve. Are you going to continue to be a fool in the sight of God? Or are you going to become another kind of fool? The Christ fool, that the world will call a fool and call foolishness. Because you see, when you come to Christ, there's a price to pay. And one of the prices you pay is being misunderstood by some members of your family, some people in the community, some people where you work or where you go to school. And that's what Jesus meant when he said, come and take up the cross and follow me. You see, the cross that you bear is identification with Christ. It's not some special sickness that you get or some trouble you get. It's identifying with Christ and letting people laugh at you and being willing for them to make sport of you if necessary for following Christ. That's your cross. And if you're not willing to take that cross, you cannot be his follower, he said.
Yeah. Well, if you're going to follow Christ, you're going to be identified. And the question is, are you ready for it? You know? Are you ready to stand up for what you believe? It goes back to the three questions I ask probably 15 times a week on the air. Do you know what you believe? Do you know why you believe it? And can you gracefully defend it?
Our priest quoted you this Sunday.
You did?
Our priest. During his homily, Father Peter.
He did?
Yeah, he actually says, as Perry says, and then he said what you just said.
Really?
Yeah. That was very special.
Well, I like him even more now.
I know.
No.
He looked at me and he said, as Perry likes to say, and then he said, do you know what you believe?
Yeah.
Can you gracefully defend it? Do you know why you believe it? Yeah. So I was like, oh,
good.
All right. Sweet. Thank you, Father Peter.
Well, good. I like Father Peter. All right. Good morning to you. Happy Friday to you. It took us 4 days to get here.
But we're here.
Yeah.
Saturday.
And the waving flag is a reminder that Sunday is Flag Day, so get your flag out. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And the president was within 3 hours of a major strike against Iran, and all of that was put on hold as the president again says that we are near a deal. Now, we've heard this. And then there was one other word that was added at the last minute. It's imminent. Okay, we'll see. And then in the meantime, the U.S. forces there in the Straits of Hormuz did have to shoot down a couple of drones in spite of this talk going on. But how close are we to a deal? Here's the president.
The whole Middle East is happy, and long beyond the Middle East, the Strait will open as soon as we have it signed. We've been taking out many ships that nobody knew. Even the fake news didn't know it. But over the last month, we've been taking out ships, big ships, quietly at night. You guys didn't know that. Pretty cool, right? As a captain, he knows about more about ships than I do. But it's pretty cool. They turned off the lights. We bombed their radar and everything, so they couldn't see what was going on. And we took out some nights 25 ships, some nights 15. Last 4 or 5 nights we did 25, 22, 21, 26, 18, and 14. Who else would remember those numbers? Nobody. And but a lot of ships, a lot of oil is out. That's why oil, even before this, the market couldn't understand why it was so free. There was more oil than they thought. What they're trying to, we took them out at night. And that the Strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon, maybe over the weekend.
Okay, we'll see. They're talking somewhere in Europe. If there is an agreement that the peace signing would be somewhere in Europe, that's yet to be seen. And apparently the deal is no nukes. Now, how that is structured and how that's carried out and how that's enforced is yet to be seen.
Yeah, that would be, I mean, that would be cool for him to have this deal signed and have the peace back in the Middle East for his 80th birthday.
Yeah.
He was asked by the reporters yesterday what would be the best president. He said peace in the world. So
yeah.
maybe that's what he's aiming for.
Yeah, but the other commentary is that yes, he's always been pushing for this deal, with the understanding that they would violate it or could violate it, and therefore, you know. So it's not as if it's better to push to get a deal than to push and not get a deal. So it's better to push to get a deal and have them violate it than to push and not get a deal.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's how it is in life. You have to, yes, even if you don't trust, you have to give it a chance. Give
it a chance. All right. Well, as you know, maybe you don't know, but June has been, over the last several years, been known as Pride Month. And it's very interesting. It's probably got one of the lowest recognitions ever this year. There was a time where the rainbow was lit up on the White House, you know, all that nonsense. Well, in the meantime, Governor Ron DeSantis out of Florida, just gave the month of June a new name, which is normally recognized, or widely, I should say, recognized as Pride Month. In a conservative rebrand, the governor announced that 2026 June would be the month of faith and family in Florida, and he did that with a declaration, largely symbolic gesture that emphasizes the importance of the biblical family unit, and he did that as a gubernatorial proclamation. Pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean,
I'd like to see that carried out. All right, so let me ask you a question. Paulina, you're a smart lady. When I grow up, I want to be smart like you. What did you think of the president putting his name on the Kennedy Center?
It was president being president.
Okay, well, the reason I bring that up, as you know, the Kennedy Center now is closed for complete renovation, inside and out. And before that happened, the president had his name inserted on the top, only because the president went in. I didn't know this was under the auspices of the president, but the president went in and fired everybody on the board, fired the management, and took it over and handpicked a board to run the Kennedy Center. And the Kennedy Center board then unanimously agreed to put the president's name up there ahead of the Kennedy Memorial name, okay? And that went to the court, and the judge stopped it, okay? And so in the meantime, the board is petitioning the court to leave it. And apparently this decision will come down the next day or so. It is possible that the president's name on the Kennedy Memorial Arts Center could be removed, in spite of the fact that he handpicked the board that put it up there. So this is a little, I don't know what you do with this, but...
Well, it already has the name of one president.
Yeah.
And now he wants to add his name, so it would be, you know, would bear two names. And I guess when the next president comes and renovates it again, we'll add the third one.
Well, I think if we ever get a Democratic president, he'll just take it off.
What do you think about him adding his name?
Well, I didn't like it, and I'll tell you why. Normally, this is something that should be honored after your presidency. recognized. So it would have been the right thing to do after he had reshaped the Kennedy Center, put it back into a profitable situation, renovated it, reopened it, and let it continue to be successful.
And then was honored.
Then be honored by doing that. And the fact that they even want to put his name on a $250 bill. Come on, wait till he's gone.
Yeah, is that real? That story about the $250
Well, they're
bill?
kicking it around, but I just think, this is the stuff that gets him into trouble. Why do this? Why doesn't he stand up and say, take my name off, don't do that.
Right.
Wait till I'm out of office.
And what's next, Mount Rushmore?
Well, I don't know. Maybe you and I could carve his name in a rock down on the Rogue River somewhere.
Oh, there you go.
I'll
get him to do it.
I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I just don't like it. I don't think it's. I think it's something. It's post your presidency, maybe even post your life, for it to be recognized. Therefore, you've actually earned it, so to speak, instead of demanding it.
And I think people used to like that bullishness. People used to. It used to be appealing to people. At least that's what I'm sensing right now. When Trump first became, when he started running for presidency, when people recognize he's this rich guy who's acting like us, he's being frank, he says what he thinks, but he's one of us. And so people kind of went along with a lot of his things, and his supporters were like, yeah, let's do all that. Let's do the crazy stuff. Well, now where we have to pay double at the pump that we used to, and we have to get 2 jobs, and people are struggling to make ends meet. It's not cute anymore.
No, it's not. And the Trump fatigue is there. And the Trump ego is, it's bigger than Texas. And so, and I don't mean that to be disrespectful. I think the honest thing is people don't like this. Why do it when you're still in office? Why do it while you're still alive? Let it be done as recognition of something that you accomplished. But anyway, that's just the way it is, and we'll see what the judge does, and we'll see what the board does. I'll guarantee you, if we live to see it, that if we ever get another Democratic president in the White House, that'll be one of the first things that happens. That name will come off. If it's still there. All right, good morning to you. So much for all that stuff. What is our food today?
Today's jerky and peanut butter cookie.
And I think something else. Donuts. I think donuts are on the day.
It's a donut Friday.
I think there's a donut thing coming. Okay, we'll be right back.
I'll stick around.
Okay.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegateRV.com.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon.
At Sweet Tea Express, we've got you covered. Order at the counter and our friendly service staff will do the rest. Breakfast served daily until 2 p.m. Breakfast burritos, biscuits and gravy, skillets, omelets, and more. Sweet Tea Express. Don't get caught hungry.
Hey, welcome back. Happy Friday. happy Friday.
The day before Saturday.
It is, and that is a subtle reminder that Sunday is Flag Day, so put your flag up. Well, some backyard news, kind of interesting, and I mean backyard news. The Grange Co-op, and I have to say it's one of my favorite stores and outlets here in Southern Oregon. I love, you go to them?
Uh-huh, yeah.
Gosh, they're just wonderful. Anyway.
My husband has turned into quite a bird lover, so we frequent Grange Co-op for different bird foods and supplies.
Okay, just remember about birds, okay? If you're going to feed birds, especially birds that migrate, you should stop feeding them in September.
Okay.
Or they won't migrate.
Oh, you'll keep them?
You'll have to feed them all winter long.
Oh.
Okay. So I have a little bird water thing that I do. I'm kind of into the bird thing a little bit.
It's beautiful.
It is.
Very
And
peaceful.
I have a little bird feeder out there, and I put the little seeds in there, so that's cool. But anyway, yeah.
But how do you know, though, because they don't all just migrate at the same time.
No,
so you switch
gotta do a little
foods
study.
to...
Get an Audubon book and read it. Take a look, okay? But have you gone to the Grange and looked at all the different types of bird seed?
Oh, yeah. It's a science.
There's a bunch of them there.
And then they have the ones that don't grow any, like a no-waste seed that is not going to produce any kind of weeds in your yard. Yeah, it's great.
Well, anyway, Grange Co-op, great company, and thank you, Grange. They've been sponsoring parts of the Dove here and helped us with weather for years and years, and we are greatly honored by their partnership. It's one of the great co-ops of Southern Oregon. Well, they just announced in a board-approved proposal to merge with the Family Farm Company that would create a 13-location cooperative spanning Southern Oregon and through Central California. So the Grange Co-op and the Farm Supply will be joining in partnership. They're both co-ops, and this isn't new to the Grange, as that through the partnership before 1966, the Grange Co-op merged with Jackson County Co-op and expanded further through the merger of Josephine County Growers in 1996. So this is really cool because they do it so well, and they're very good at what they do. They're kind of like the place for farming and stuff like that. And so now they're going to merge with Farm Supply Company. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's a big merger. That's a big merger. All right, the other one is the Butte Creek Mill, which is out in Eagle Point. If you've never been there, the historic mill, just a wonderful, wonderful place. And as you know, on Christmas Day, it burned down several years ago.
Yeah.
It caught on fire. And I got the call from the people that it was burning, and Christmas morning before our family acted, I hopped in my truck and I drove out there, and I'm sitting there in complete stun. It was burning, and
were you close to the family, or why did they
yes,
call you?
Very much so.
Okay.
Very much so. Peter and Cora Crandall, who were the original people for years, when we were just radio, they would bake things and bring them into the morning show. They would do the biscuits, they would do the muffins, they would do the pancakes, and they would bring it in, and Cora would wrap them in her little cloth, and they were still warm, and all the Butte Creek meal mixes. Well, anyway, long story short, it's back, and it had to be rearranged to save it into a nonprofit organization. And they slowly began. Bob, who ended up becoming the second owner of it, and it just was sad. But here's the deal. The fire department worked so well in saving it, they saved enough of it that it didn't lose its historic registry, which is a big deal. It's one of the last water-driven flour mills in the world. And so Jim Bellucci, do you know him? The comedian?
Yeah.
Well, he is going to do a fundraiser to help him finish with the project, and here's what he had to say.
Hey, Southern Oregon and Northern California. Jim Bellucci here. I am inviting you to my home, to my farm, Bellucci's Farm in Eagle Point, right along the Rogue River. I have a stage there. We're going to be doing comedy. I'm bringing my improv group there. My daughter Jamie, who's a Nashville songwriter, singer, is going to be playing. We're going to have tri-tip chicken. We're going to have desserts, salads, of course, for those vegetarians. And, of course, maybe a little booze or two. But what we're really going to have is a lot of laughs and a lot of fun. And it's going to be our community, because our community is going to come together to help raise proceeds for the Butte Creek Mill, for its preservation for generations to come for our community. So be part of the community, be part of the fun, and come to Belushi's Farm on June 27th. June 27th, that's coming up. So go to ComedyOnTheRoad.com and get tickets. I hope to see you there. ComedyOnTheRoad.com. Do it now.
There you go, ComedyOnTheRoad.com, or you can go to theButteCreekMill.com, either one, and get tickets. Ought to be kind of a hoot.
Yeah, it's so cool when someone comes and makes it their home and is so passionate about the valley and recognizes the beauty of it and what it offers, and of course supports some historic places like the mill.
Well, he's an interesting guy. I'll put it that way. Okay. But he's doing something for the community, and the Butte Creek Mill just needs that little bit of push to put it over the top. So check that out. All right. Good morning to you. Let's take a look at the satellite image. Here's what's going on out there. Severe clear is the weather forecast, and slash hot. Yes, it's going to be very warm through the weekend, triple digits in a lot of areas, especially up through the Central Valley of California. Southern Oregon could see triple digits easily, and possible triple digits even in the Portland, Vancouver area. So be careful, okay, out there.
Well, television landscape is changing. It has been for many years. In 2010, 90% of American households had cable. Today, it's down to 40% and lower. People are cutting the cord and turning to on-demand resources. We have so many choices these days. Before I play the next clip, why do you think people are more drawn to YouTube TV or Netflix, things where you can just watch what you want? What's the appeal?
Well, two things, because I study this: convenience and cost. Those are the two drivers.
All right. Yeah. Well, we'll talk more on the other side of this clip. Megyn Kelly, who used to be on Fox for many years, during her prime time, I think she did about $4 million a night. Now Fox is down to almost half of that. She left that world, went into podcasting, and has been very successful. And so she was on another podcaster's show, Sean Ryan, and they had a 3-hour discussion about all kinds of things, and among them, what's happening in television. And here's a clip from that.
The numbers across news are down. Cable news is down, podcast
Like how
news
down?
shows.
How many viewers does Fox News have a day? Or
think,
CNN?
You know, in their
any
prime time, they're probably getting around 3 million, just under 2.4 to 3 million in the overall, and around 400,000 in the demo, which is not great. It's not great. They have cable news is dead. It's just running out its lifespan. Same for broadcast. I mean, that's deader than cable, even though they still have like some very old people watching the nightly
Do you enjoy
newscasts.
watching it collapse?
Oh yeah. But I don't watch any television news. None of it. I find it totally useless to me, I have to say. There's some people I like if I have to tune into news, who do I hope is on? I like Jesse Waters. He's a good guy and he's a friend too. If I need like Washington news, I will tune in Brett Baer still. But I don't have the tolerance for it or the patience. You know, it's like you can't go 2.0. You have to watch the ads. You have to make it through this 9-minute segment because you know they have an A block to fill. And then the 6-minute segment in the B block, because it's not like this where it's like, this discussion has grown tiresome. Let's move on to our next topic right now. But we're only 30 seconds into it. Yeah, but neither of us is feeling it. That's not the way television news works. And the consumer listening to this conversation right now just had a feeling inside of, yes, that's right, even though they weren't able to diagnose it 5 minutes ago. But it's why people are tuning off from television, because they can't service the modern day mind in the way it needs, which is why all the young people are in our lane now listening to us, and all the, not even older people, the elderly are watching television news. Who's watching will determine the advertiser fees. You know, if you have whatever, 100,000 people watching you, you're not going to get the same advertising fees as somebody who's got 10 million watching them. But it's also about cord cutting. Everyone's cord cutting. I don't have cable at all on any of my TVs anymore.
Yeah, we don't either.
I use YouTube TV, and it's great. You can get anything. And I think young people, Nobody's paying for a cable news subscription now, nor are they going to the traditional broadcast channels for anything other than maybe a sports event or something that's breaking that you can only see here.
Well, I could unpack that for a couple of hours. But I think that, first of all, she's certainly showing her biases and her frustration. Okay, so that has to be part of the factor. Some of the things she said is absolutely true. Some of it's pretty bogus. But there is a transition. There's no question there's a transition. But the cable system and the satellite system is pricing themselves out of business. It's a money issue more than it is a convenience issue. The convenience issues with podcast or even streaming is that you can stop and start when you want to. Podcast you can't, but streaming you can get it on your phone, you can get it on your computer. It's wherever you are. And so streaming is a big part of it. We stream everything we do, through the website, through the apps, because people use different devices. But what she didn't mention there, it's a big part of the equation, is because the pie has been cut into 1,000 pieces, media buying now is absolutely almost impossible to concentrate on. We used to buy what they call rating points. And you would call them, I want to buy, 17 points in this market for a political ad. Well, good luck. And besides, if you're going to buy 17 points of what?
Right. Well, this conversation was obviously much longer. I find it such an interesting paradox of podcasts, in our fast-paced world where people don't want to listen to a news show sometimes, like she explained, because you have to follow their schedule versus just go. So many people do tune in to this long-form podcast, and they would sit there for an hour or two and listen to two people talk. Right. And I wonder if that can be translated in a way to the success, if I can toot our own horn, of Focus Today. This is what people have been saying they appreciate, is this long format, which is not as long as these, conversation where you can just sit and talk. Obviously you have questions, but it's a more in-depth conversation than just a 3-minute comment on this.
So what she is not mentioning is the analytics of podcasts. A podcast, again, you can start and stop at your convenience. Okay, so they're not telling you who stops and who restarts. Okay, and so you got to look at, that's a whole nother level of trying to figure out viewing and listening habits. So a lot of people will start a podcast, they'll get into it 30 minutes or so, they get busy, they'll click on it, come back to it later, listen to it in their car, whatever. Okay, a lot of people are tuning in at that point, so the numbers kind of stay up there, okay? But what they're not telling you is who's going out, who's coming in, and how long they're staying. And the irony is podcast violates all broadcast rules because they're long. But the other part of it is that they're not showing you the click in, the click out factor, because everything will tell you that the attention span in America is this long.
Yeah, it is.
And so it's kind of an interesting thing. All right, good morning to you. Happy Friday. Put your flag up this weekend because it's Flag Day on Sunday. And have some jerky. We'll be right back.
We want to see you open up the floodgates, a mighty river flowing from your heart, filling every part of our brain.
Visit fishlikeresorts.net today to learn more and plan your visit.
Combining your home and auto insurance could save you time and money. And who doesn't like that? Want surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life? Now's the time to call State Farm agent Rory Wold in Medford.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Your sweet tooth just became a force for good. The Salvation Army's Taste Good, Do Good Challenge is on June 5th through the 30th. And local bakeries, restaurants, and shops are serving up exclusive treats you can only get during the challenge. Hit different spots, collect punches, and vote for the best bite in town. And every delicious stop helps support local kids and veterans right here in our community. Start your adventure at tastegooddogood.net.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. history. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Relive the past and learn something new. Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
Hey, how y'all doing out there? Happy Friday. Wave your flag this weekend. Put it up. Make sure you put it up right. Go online, click Google etiquette, flag etiquette, excuse me. Now go to Google and click flag etiquette, and it'll tell you how to hang your flag.
Otherwise, the flag police will come to your house.
But you know what really bothers me, though, and I say this respectfully, is people that'll leave a flag up all night and not light it.
And when you say light it, does it have to have a spotlight or can it be next to a light?
It just has to have light on it. Some people will put it at the base of a pole and flash it up. Some people will have a light on another building that flashes to it. It has to be lit.
Because I know, like in our neighborhood, a lot of people have their flags on their garage, and they don't have a spotlight on it.
If their night garage is shining on it, that should be okay.
Right, but there are usually like 2 lights on the garage door, so the flag is lit because of that lamp he's next to.
If they leave the light on all night, okay, yeah. But by the way, there's one other thing. Nothing goes above the American flag. Nothing flies above it.
Unless you're a crazy liberal.
Well, you know what you'll see this week, and you'll see it during the 4th of July. You'll probably see flags burned and stomped on, and you'll see flags flown upside down. And so, okay, it's America. You can do what you want, but that's not.
And there are some organizations in every region, including ours, that will take your flag if it's been torn, broken for whatever reason. So instead of just throwing it in the trash, there are also a proper way of disposing it.
Yeah, you know what it is? You know the proper way to dispose of a flag?
I don't, because I usually find people who do and I deliver it to them.
Okay, that's the thing to do. But the proper way to dispose of an old flag is to burn it.
Oh, burn it, okay.
Okay, so, but you should give it to people who do that.
Right.
Yeah, they know how to do it. They know how to honor it and fold it and do all that. All right, so much for all that. Let's check in with CBN News and find out what's going on in Israel.
President Trump is turning to military force to compel Iran to make the peace deal. For the second straight night, the United States has struck targets inside Iran.
Iran responded by launching strikes against Kuwait, Bahrain, and Jordan. One Iranian general threatened to, quote, turn the entire region into hell. CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell reports.
The United States is stepping up the pressure on Iran.
We hit them hard yesterday, and we're going to hit them again hard today.
U.S. Central Command launched attacks targeting military surveillance capabilities, communication systems, and air defense sites. President Trump says the strikes are aimed at forcing Tehran to finish the negotiations.
We're really close to a deal, but they keep tapping us along. They keep playing us for suckers.
The attacks are straining the fragile ceasefire and fueling fears of a regional war. The administration says any agreement hinges on Iran reopening the Strait of Hormuz and abandoning its nuclear ambitions.
It's a good deal. It doesn't give them the right to have a nuclear weapon. In fact, it totally prohibits them from ever having a nuclear weapon.
The war is becoming a political challenge for the White House as Americans face higher fuel costs and economic uncertainty. President Trump revealed details of what he described as a covert operation to move oil shipments through the strait despite Iranian threats.
Do you know we've been taking out millions of barrels of oil? We took out the other night 22 ships late at night with no lights because they don't have any radar because we blasted the crap out of it.
Iranian officials warn that if Iran's territory is violated, the country will never surrender, and any future conflict will not be confined to the Middle East. Iran also demands that a peace deal must include an end to Israel's war against Hezbollah in Lebanon. Israeli leaders are sending a message of peace to the Lebanese people and urging them to reject Hezbollah and Iranian influence.
I have a message for you, the people of Lebanon. Israel is not at war with you. We're at war with Hezbollah.
Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the IDF has eliminated nearly 10,000 Hezbollah terrorists and is systematically clearing them out of southern Lebanon.
Hezbollah, that has taken your country hostage, we yearn for peace with you, with Lebanon.
Israeli President Isaac Herzog, speaking in Arabic from Israel's northern border, extended what he called a hand of peace to Lebanon, while urging the country to fight for freedom from the influence of Iran and Hezbollah.
All right, Chris Mitchell is with us now for more from Jerusalem. Chris, the U.S. is, as you reported, using military strikes to pressure Iran into agreeing to a peace deal. Is the strategy working?
Well, we're going to see, Andrew, and just President Trump within the last hour just came out on Truth Social that at some point they're going to be taking over Karg Island and assume total control of their oil and gas markets, just like they did in Venezuela. And he said it's going to be in the not too distant future. And what that means, Andrew, to many people, a possible ground invasion. And what this does is also mark a major escalation in the conflict. This could decimate Iran's already flagging economic engine. One Israeli journalist put it this way: the way President Trump is now hitting Iran militarily is that he's learned to speak Persian. What he means by that is he's hitting Iran very hard. This will be the third night in a row, and that using military force and diplomacy as complementary tools. In fact, that's often what the same strategy that Iran is using. We'll see if it leads to a breakthrough in the negotiations. But this announcement by President Trump, Andrew, really marks a sort of a game changer in the conflict right now between the U.S. and Iran.
Well, and we also know Iran is threatening to widen the war themselves. Does that mean more attacks on Israel, other Gulf nations, as reported this morning, or could it even go farther than that?
Well, it could, and certainly, I'm sure Israel right now is anticipating the possibility of a strike by Iran against Israel right now because of what President Trump is promising. That could be, and as we said, the many other Gulf nations have already been hit: Kuwait, UAE, Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, and also the U.S. forces in the region, Andrew, up to 50,000. Jordan as well, and they were hitting or targeting anyway U.S. bases in Jordan. Could remain cyber attacks as well. Another possible expansion would be the Red Sea, which are about 12 to 15% of the global trade. The Houthis have threatened that shipping lane too, and that would add to the Strait of Hormuz and then the shipping lane in the Red Sea. And certainly the war is having a global impact on the price of oil and the price of gas.
Chris, what about where you're reporting from? How is Israel responding to the U.S. strikes? There's a unique dynamic here. President Trump put the brakes on their response to an Iranian missile attack just days ago.
Yeah, Andrew, one Israeli diplomat said, the U.S. understandably took action when Iran hit that Apache helicopter, but they asked earlier in the week, they asked Israel to show restraint when missiles were coming this way. One Israeli journalist put it, capitulation for thee, for not for me. But I think right now they're probably glad here in Israel that President Trump is taking an aggressive military action against Iran and its economic lifeline right there.
All right, Chris, thank you so much for joining us and for your reporting. We appreciate it.
All right, a lot going on there, and it's pretty tense. So they're saying a deal over the weekend. We'll see.
Well, this is a historic day in many ways, and one of the events that took place on June 12th in 1987 was President Ronald Reagan stood before the Berlin Wall and issued one of the most memorable challenges of the Cold War. This was his famous Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall speech, and here is that clip.
Behind me stands a wall that encircles the free sectors of this city, part of a vast system of barriers that divides the entire continent of Europe. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
June 12, 1987.
Wow.
Goosebumps.
How much for those of us who were then alive remember that. Yeah, it was cool. And you know, it's interesting, Gorbachev ended up living at the Presidio in San Francisco for many, many years. And then when he passed, is he buried in Moscow?
I don't know. I don't know where he's buried.
Well, he was sent back to Russia.
His wife, I believe, died in Germany. Oh, maybe it's Yeltsin's. I'll look it up.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Gorbachev ended up coming to President Trump's, not a funeral, but he also honored him by coming to the Capitol Rotunda when his
President
body
Bush?
was laying, Governor Reagan, when his, excuse me, President Reagan, when his body was laying in state there.
Okay.
He came, yeah.
Yes, Gorbachev is buried at the historic Novodevichy, say it 3 times,
Yeah.
cemetery in Moscow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, President Ronald Reagan, interesting, 1985, and of course he remembers Flag Day, and of course this Sunday is Flag Day, that's why it's waving behind us, and here's what former President Ronald Reagan had to say on Flag Day 1985.
Every time we place our hand over our heart and pledge allegiance to the flag, we'll be reminded that our most precious inheritance is freedom, and that history has bestowed on our nation the unique responsibility for its protection.
It was the massive flag that waved above Fort McHenry and survived a 25-hour bombardment from British forces during the War of 1812 that inspired Francis Scott Key to write a poem which later became the lyrics to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan observed the 100th anniversary of Flag Day at Baltimore's Fort McHenry.
Our forefathers were motivated by something bigger than themselves. From the harsh winter of Valley Forge to the blazing night above Fort McHenry, those patriot soldiers were sustained by the ideal of human freedom. For with the birth of our nation, the cause of human freedom had become forever tied to that flag and its survival. From the mountains of Kentucky to the shores of California to the Sea of Tranquility on the moon, our pioneers carried our flag before them, a symbol of the indomitable spirit of a free people. And let us never forget that in honoring our flag, we honor the American men and women who have courageously fought and died for it over the last 200 years.
Today, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute commemorates the 1777 adoption of our Stars and Stripes and observes our National Flag Day on June 14th. As Francis Scott Key wrote, "Long may she wave."
There you go. So that is this Sunday. Get your flag out, or you can wave it anytime, hang it, but certainly for Sunday. And again, just a little reminder, don't want to be a broken record, make sure you hang it, display it correctly. All right, we'll be right back.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian owned and operated. Pet-friendly and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
The Dove TV is pleased to announce we're now seen in the Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto area via a new full-power TV station, KEDS, seen on cable, satellite TV, and over the air. The Dove TV, encouraging and informative for the Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto area on new full-power KEDS TV.
Welcome back to the morning show. Thank you for watching. Make sure you watch Focus Today coming up next. And then the Ancient Show comes on Sunday, 6 p.m., the new show that I am hosting, where I talk to Orthodox priests about Orthodoxy and just the view of the church on this world and issues. And this Sunday, we have Father Thomas Frisbee on the program from Phoenix. He talks about young people coming to Christianity. And when they come, they bring a lot of scars and wounds. So how does the Orthodox Church deal with that? Here's what he said.
The Orthodox Church is very clear that sin is not a matter of guilt, it's a matter of an illness. And so it's crucially important to remember that they are suffering from an ailment of the mind and of the nous and the soul, however you want to term that. And so we have to constantly look for ways to encourage them to overcome this and to give them, like I said, the tools, accountability with me, with their Godfather, and just having those open conversations. I would say that as rampant as drug addiction and alcoholism is in our society, I think pornography is a more destructive addiction in many respects, because it's subtle, it's hidden, it overtakes their mind, if you will. And so the reality is in confession, rarely do I, give a real strong penance as far as like, okay, a year, no communion or whatever. And some people would disagree with that. I understand that. But I'm trying to find a pastoral way to be able to help them to overcome these impulses of the flesh. And so I'll make, like I said, suggestions. Let's try this. Let's see if this helps. And then I'll say to them, get back to me and let me know how you're doing and stuff, Some of them kind of duck out. They don't want to admit it. But when they start to realize that I'm not going to sit in judgment over them, I'm not going to look at them and say, oh, you're a terrible person because you're struggling with these sins, then they start to relax and they start to continue to work on it. And then I tell them, the last thing is I say, here's the real sin that you might encounter. The real sin will be when you say, this is just my struggle and I'll always be like that. Then you're done, because you have not continued to rely upon the grace of God and the hope of His Holy Spirit transforming you. It's when we give up that we're just lost.
That interview is coming up on Sunday at 6 p.m. right here on the Dove.
Verily, truly I tell you, the one who believes in me has eternal life. John 6.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
The Black Barn Kitchen and Deli is a farm-to-table restaurant located in the historic schoolhouse in Jacksonville. Offering upscale dining and casual fare. Enjoy brunch, deli, and dinner. featuring local source ingredients we grow. A warm sense of comfort greets you as you're surrounded by stunning artwork by my wife. We're a community-based business. With every sandwich you purchase, we give one back to our community. It's a feel-good experience. Come visit the Black Barn Kitchen and Deli in Jacksonville.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox, air is life. Make it perfect. Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Something has happened to our country here where we're glorifying assassinations and killings and killing babies, and we're glorifying taking God's creation and turning it upside down and throwing it on its head where a boy can become a girl and a girl become a boy. I mean, the whole thing. At what point are you going to wake up and realize that we are fighting something that's spiritual?
News with a little bit of common sense. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays 6 to 8 a.m.
I'm Paulina Leiser. Join me as we explore the beauty and depth of Orthodox Christianity on the Ancient Church, Sundays on theDove TV.
Good morning. You're tuned to theDove, encouraging and informative, helping Oregon, Northern California, Idaho, and Nevada start the day with news and encouragement. This is Mornings on the Dove.
Well, good morning to you, and happy Friday. Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Paulina Leiser's with me, always a joy.
And Perry Atkinson is here.
Oh, but you're
always
there.
Stability,
well.
consistency, wisdom. That should be your slogan.
What's that?
Stability, consistency, wisdom.
Okay.
Faith,
You just
humor.
described yourself.
Talking about you.
Anyway, good morning to you. Happy Friday. It took us 4 days to get here, and we're glad that we arrived. And that big flag waving behind us is a subtle reminder that Sunday is Flag Day.
Yes.
And please get your flag out and display it correctly. And if you don't know what that is, just go online and Google flag etiquette, and it'll tell you the correct way to display your flag. But let's do that proudly and correctly. Good morning to you. Warm weather. In fact, we're going from warm to hot.
This weekend, huh?
Yeah, we're going to see the triple digits, and make sure your pets are in a cool spot and the water's left in the shade and all that kind of stuff. So a lot going on. Good morning. How are you? Thanks for being here today.
Thank you. Well, if you're too hot, you can have a movie night. Today is National Movie Night Day. Encourages us to slow down, spend some time with family, and just put your phone away and turn on some classic and just enjoy.
Chill, baby, chill.
Yeah.
Oh, that was drill, baby.
You can chill too.
Okay.
National Jerky Day. Good food, kind of like popcorn, but not. For all you carnivores out there celebrating one of America's favorite protein-packed snacks, from traditional beef jerky to turkey and venison and all the other varieties.
You like it?
Yeah.
You like it peppery?
No, I like it more of a milder.
Did you? How about you jerky, or you just choose on the whole steak?
Steak, yeah. No, it's, we have to buy a whole cow to last us 3 months. National Peanut Butter Cookie Day. So that's a good one. And then, of course, you have to have the Fork Prince on a peanut butter
Yes,
cookie.
you do. The double fork print.
Soft and chewy. Although I do like them crunchy. You can make them crunchy too, right?
Yeah, either way. You know, at our church, between services, they have coffee and cookies outside. And it's a mad rush for the peanut butter one.
I was going to say, when does
They
the
have a
service
variety
end?
of cookies out there, but those are the first ones that go.
Yeah, well, they're good. So anyway, those are just some things we're celebrating today.
All right, good stuff all the way around. Let's check out Alfred and the weather as we head into this weekend.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunshine warms the region. Vancouver reaches 79, Portland and Wilsonville both top out at 80, and McMinnville checks in near 81. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny conditions continue with highs near 81 in Salem, sunny and 80 in Albany and Corvallis, and near 79 in Eugene, with overnight lows settling back into the low 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with Prineville pushing 83, Bend near 82, and Sun River around 81 this afternoon. Overnight lows cool back into the 40s while Boise stays sunny and warm with a high near 86. Along the Oregon coast, sunny skies in Coos Bay with a high near 70 down through Brookings near 66. Port Orford stays sunny and breezy in the mid-60s while Crescent City turns sunny and breezy with highs near 70. In southern Oregon, sunny and warmer with highs climbing to 90 in Grants Pass and near 93 in Medford. Ashland reaches 88, while Klamath Falls tops out near 84 with lows tonight in the 50s. Northern California stays hot under sunny skies with Wairika climbing to 92, while Redding surges to 106 and Chico 103 under a heat advisory. Along the coast, Fort Bragg stays much cooler with highs near 62. Across the Bay Area, sunny conditions continue with highs in the upper 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco peaks at 75, while San Jose heats up to 94 with a heat advisory. Through Central California, triple-digit heat settles in with Sacramento near 100, while Stockton and Modesto climb to 101. Fresno and Visalia reach 102, and Bakersfield near 103 under heat advisories. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
All right, a beautiful shot at the south end of our valley. We went from green to gold and brown. Just to the left of that would be Ashland. Over on the other side of the little hill there is Jacksonville. But it just gives you an idea. You know, almost begin to see the heat haze a little bit. See that? Just right across the top of the mountain. That's a little bit of a heat haze. So be careful this weekend. Be careful, okay?
So what's a heat haze? It's like a foggy thing that you see?
You'll see it in the early morning is where the temperature, at night the temperature will be one point, and then it'll go down right at sunrise. And so as that air cools and the other one warms up, it creates this little haze, and then it dissipates.
Lovely.
I'm not a meteorologist. I just learned some things as a pilot. That was one of them. But that didn't get me anywhere. It didn't get me a job.
Got you here. Let's start this morning with some encouragement from none other than Billy Graham. He encourages us with what Jesus did on the cross.
Because you see, when Christ died on the cross, it says that the crowd down below, the mob below, ridiculed and laughed. And they said, "What a fool. You saved others, but you cannot save yourself." And Jesus was hanging there. And in heaven, 72,000 angels, 10 legions drew their swords, ready to come and rescue him. But he said, "No, I love them." And when he died on the cross, he took your sins. Every sin that you've ever committed, he took on that cross. He took your death penalty for you. And because he was the Son of God, and because he was sinless, he could bear your sins. And God has accepted his death as a sin offering for our sins. So that when God looks at me now, he doesn't see Billy Graham the sinner. I am a sinner. I have sinned, but I've placed my sins under the blood of Christ. And the blood that was shed on the cross washes my sins away symbolically in the sight of God, so that when God looks at me, he cannot see my sins. And God has a unique ability that you don't have. God can forget. And it says that he forgets your sins. In other words, the tapes are erased. from the time you were born till the time you die. Because if one sin ever remained on those tapes, you'd never make it to heaven. God is righteous and holy. And before you can get into heaven, you must be righteous too. And the only way you can get any righteousness is to be clothed in the righteousness of Jesus Christ. And He offers you that righteous clothing tonight, free.
There you go. It's beautiful. Dr. Billy Graham, you think he preached that last night?
Yeah. When he says that everything is erased from birth to the end,
yeah,
he still preaches repentance, though, too, right?
Yes.
That you can't just go now and
no.
sin.
No. And Romans deals with that. Corinthians deals with that. No, that's not a license to continue sinning by any means. That would be, obviously wrong. But it does open the door for repentance, and we should repent. If you become immune to sin because you think you've been forgiven and you can keep on sinning, well, all my sins are forgiven, I'll just keep on sinning. That goes back to a fundamental question. Did you really surrender your life to Christ in the first place? Ta-da. And I don't need that conversation.
No,
you know what? Of course, you know me, but I get all this stuff about theological discussion. It's amazing what's going on within the faith community of what they're arguing over now.
Yeah.
Okay? And don't get me wrong, I think there are issues that need to be discussed, but do we really want to do them publicly? One is stuff like this. The other one is women pastors. The other one is baptism. I mean, all these things are being discussed, and there's publicly out there. And I thought, man, if I'm a seeker and I see this stuff and the church is confused about what they believe, why do I want to join it?
So you think those discussions should take place, but among the church leaders?
Yes, I think, that's
kind of like the councils used to happen, and the bishop would get together and decide on the creed or on the other matters of the church. There's a reason
there's a lot of complaints about it, but the SBC, the Southern Baptist Convention, has been having this big meeting down in Florida. I think it's Florida. They're having their big one, and they're even splitting hairs over a resolution versus a recommendation. Okay, so we're going to recommend something because we really don't want to vote on it. So resolution, you have to vote, okay? And so all this stuff, and don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking any of that in the sense that you shouldn't be doing it, but it's been made public because of the stuff that we have today, all these devices, and
I was
going to
say everything is public.
What's this all about?
I was going to say everything is public.
Yeah. And I thought, well, you just can't have a nice little meeting and settle, write the doctrines of your church. You either believe it or you don't. Do you know what you believe?
You know why you believe it, and can you gracefully defend it?
Not so much for all of that. All right, let's take a look at some of the top stories this morning. And the big one is that the president put a hold on. It was 3 hours away from a massive military action against Iran. And yet they're still kind of exchanging some small things because Iran keeps sending drones out over the place and our military is shooting them down. But the president said, all right, a deal is imminent. Well, we haven't heard that word yet. And apparently it could even be signed over the weekend. And the deal has to include denuking. And how that is worded and the way it comes out, I don't know. They're actually talking about meeting somewhere in Europe to do this. So we'll see. But here's the president on the latest deal.
The whole Middle East is happy, and long beyond the Middle East, the Strait will open as soon as we have it signed. We've been taking out many ships that nobody knew. Even the fake news didn't know it. But over the last month, we've been taking out ships, big ships, quietly at night. You guys didn't know that. Pretty cool, right? As a captain. He knows about more about ships than I do, but it's pretty cool. They turned off the lights. We bombed their radar and everything, so they couldn't see what was going on. And we took out some nights 25 ships, some nights 15. Last 4 or 5 nights we did 25, 22, 21, 26, 18, and 14. Who else would remember those numbers? Nobody. And but a lot of ships, a lot of oil is out. That's why oil, even before this, the market couldn't understand why it was so free. There was more oil than they thought. What they're trying to, we took them out at night, and that with the Strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon, maybe over the weekend.
Well, there you go. See, maybe over the weekend. I don't know. There's a word now that's been used that we haven't heard before. The word was imminent. A deal is imminent. Now, we've heard the deal's close. We're heard that we're 3 days away, we're hours away. Now it's imminent. So we'll see.
Imminent, yeah. Well, he wants that to be his birthday present, so maybe it will happen.
Maybe it'll happen. All right. In the meantime, as you know, maybe or don't know, but through the years, the last decade or so, June was widely recognized as Pride Month. And even to the point in previous administrations, they lit up the White House with the rainbow colors. Well, Ron DeSantis, the governor in Florida, switched this around, and he announced that June 2026 will be Faith and Family Months, and wrote a declaration and a resolution to symbolize and gesture to emphasize the importance of, quote, a biblical family unit. Yahoo!
Yeah.
Governor DeSantis.
Small steps, but so important for a country to have strong family.
Well, I just think all this wokeness is starting to hit the wall and start to fall apart and getting pushed back. This is great.
It contradicts itself a lot of the time, so
Yeah,
it's
it really
destined
does.
to fall.
All right, the other one is, it's a little interesting, but as you know, the president took over the Kennedy Center, and there in Washington. Have you ever been there?
I've been to Washington. I have not been to the Kennedy Center.
The Kennedy Center is absolutely beautiful. And I've been there. I've been in it. I haven't been to an event in there, but it's just gorgeous. Been all through it. We toured it when we were at the RNC. And anyway, as you know, it was falling apart and losing money like crazy. And the president steps in. I didn't know how he had the power to do this, but he completely fired all the board members, put together a hand-picked board, put the thing back in place, and now it's closed again for complete renovation. Apparently it's run down and they want to get it all back up and going again. But in the meantime, he put his name on it, or at least the board. Let me put it this way. The board that he hand-picked unanimously voted to call it the Donald Trump and Kennedy Memorial Arts Center, or whatever the full name is. Okay, very controversial. Well, the judge stepped in and said, you can't do that, and ordered them to take the Donald J. Trump part of it down. And in the meantime, the board is petitioning the court to leave it up.
I find it interesting. It's like one thing that if you build a Memorial Arts Center and you put your name on it, it makes sense. But there's already a building in existence that carries another president's name. Why would you add your name to? I mean, I know why would you do it, ego, whatever, but why would you even think that's okay?
I don't know. I mean,
to me, it's kind of disrespectful to the previous person whose name is on it.
And the word memorial's up there. He's not memorialized. Kennedy's memorialized. And so I didn't like this at all, and I kind of hope the judge wins this, but I'll guarantee you that if we ever get another Democratic president, that name will come down like in the middle of the night immediately. No, I did not like this. I thought it was ego on steroids. It needed to go away. But the board that he picked wants to keep it, and the judge says no. So we'll see where this goes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't hurt me at all if they take it down.
Yeah, no, I think it's a little.
Yeah, and the $250 bill. Who's going to carry a $250 bill in their pocket? It's something you're going to buy, mount it, and put it on the wall.
Remember how you said in the beginning of President Trump's second term, or maybe in first term, you just throw all these things and see what sticks. And so maybe this Trump was just an attempt. Maybe they'll get tied up with trying to fight this issue and not fight him on something that is more important. Maybe that's kind of the reasoning. I'll give them something to fight over. Meanwhile, I can do things that are important. I don't know.
We got the Trump accounts. You got the Trump RX. I mean, sooner or later, the fatigue factor gets to you. You know, come on. You do this after you're out of office. You do this when you're 6 foot under. You know. All right. So much for all that. We'll take a jerky break. We'll be right back.
Before me, I know who stands behind. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
If you don't drive it, donate it. By supporting us, you'll get even more mileage out of it.
Thank you from the Dove TV. In a time when our culture faces unprecedented challenges,
I want to talk about the role of a Christian even in a hostile culture.
Christian apologist and evangelist Alex McFarland addresses the hard-hitting questions about faith, morality, and culture.
People are hungry for truth, and we've got to rise to the challenge of our assignment as the church.
Know your faith better to be equipped to defend it in a world searching for answers.
But when you put the face of an earthly man on God, then you're never going to understand who God is.
God takes pleasure in you, and the very sight of you is joy and blessing.
Alex McFarland, inspiring believers through apologetics to boldly stand for truth in a critical time. Catch him Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday on the Dove TV, encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
I was going to think about it.
No, you don't.
Share this. I only see the people that are in the room.
Hello, hello. It's Donut Day on the Dove.
Yes, it is.
Yum, yum.
We are. I wish this was smell-o-vision as much as it is television, because this thing here is amazing. But anyway, let me start with Sherry. Good to see you again. Since she's with Salvation Army, what are we doing here? Why are we doing this? What's up?
Oh, this is Taste Good, Do Good Challenge. You can find out more about it on tastegooddogood.net.
Okay.
And essentially, all these amazing businesses are featuring a donut-inspired item during this month. And it goes back to the donut lassies who served our military during World War I. And so the Salvation Army, most people don't know, is the one who inspired the donut.
Right.
And I got to tell you, Perry, I've already gained a pound tasting all these things.
Get a pound just smelling them. All right, so Kyle, you are with Court Street Donuts.
Yes, sir. Yes.
What do you got there? That looks wow.
We have our monthly special here. It's the Berry Blessed. We do sacred drops each month, so this is the one we decided to partner with Salvation Army with. So
great.
Yeah. So
can I smell it?
Of course. Yes. So it's got some strawberry glaze, some graham crackers.
I mean, you could even taste it, Paulina.
I might.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
Some graham crackers, strawberry glaze, white icing.
Oh, okay.
And it's a donut is a donut.
It's one of our cake donuts.
Okay,
so
wow.
Yeah, a little more fluffy. So.
Where are you located so they can come do this?
So we also do breakfast burritos. We do smash burgers. We also have a donut-inspired smash burger on a donut bun as well. So a little sweet, a little savory.
Nice.
Yeah. We have all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
I like your hat. Holy dough. Holy dough.
Holy dough. Yeah. It's so we're Court Street Donuts and Grill, home of the Holy Dough. So that's our Holy Dough specials.
Nice.
That's wonderful.
We have shirts as well if you need a shirt.
All right. The jacket. You're the man. All right, Emmanuel, good to see you.
Hey, likewise, thank you.
And where is Code 4?
It's located in Grants Pass, so 515 Rogue River Highway.
Okay.
So we're a tap house, also a brunch spot.
Okay.
And also a late night spot. We do a little bit of everything. And then for
what
today,
is this?
We have this beautiful donut. You have a whole donut in the bottom, whole on the bottom and top. You have an egg, bacon. You're gonna have actually the secret ingredient, a little bit of syrup on top right there.
Oh.
Mix it a little bit of the sweetness, and then we have chicken down there with Nashville hot sauce to kind of add that little bit of flavor.
And the potatoes.
Oh, you gotta have them. Gotta have them.
This thing is.
And look, I'm sorry, I'm gonna. Look,
What is
treats.
it?
Okay.
Treats.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe it's also a donut.
All right. Well,
Being
this
creative.
this smells absolutely wonderful.
know.
All right, so this is all about, Sherry, tell us again what this is really all about, because at the end of the day, we're advancing Salvation Army's work and mission.
Yeah, so at all the locations, again, that you can find on the website Taste Good, Do Good, essentially you go around and you taste all these amazing creations, and I got to tell you, they are delicious. When you go, you get a punch card. You pick them up at Holy Dough Court Street or over at Emmanuel's Tap House. We go from Grants Pass clear to Ashland. We have a Hawaiian Hut in Ashland. And here's all your locations. You taste at least 5 creations. You vote for your favorite creation, and then you're entered to win a bunch of prizes too. So essentially, taste good and you're doing good.
And when does it end?
Ends on the last day of June. So you have the whole month. But there's 33 different actual locations in Southern Oregon that you can go visit, such as that. Look at that berry donut. And this one's a whole meal.
And you guys are on Court Street. You
Court
didn't
Street.
get to give your location.
Yes,
okay.
yeah, 1173 Court Street, right there in Court and McAndrews.
Okay.
Okay, and you're in Grants Pass.
Okay. Perfect.
I'm looking at this thing. Are you sure you don't work silently for a cardiologist?
Possibilities.
Little referrals.
This is a glazed donut, bacon, egg, another glazed donut, and what's this ribbon thing on top? The red, white, and
Some
blue.
good candy on there. Add that little bit of sweetness to it.
Oh.
Nice.
Red,
and
white.
then all those yummy potatoes.
This is a snack for your hubby, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
There you go. Potatoes are good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you both for participating in this, and Sherry and you and the Major and all that you guys do there at the Salvation Army. Can't say enough about what the Salvation Army does around the world, but in our own backyard. And to your point, I think people forget this whole donut thing came about because the Salvation Army during the war helping people. That's how it really got launched. So the connection is there. So go check out your favorite donut, vote for it. What happens? Do they win anything?
Yeah, we will have lots of different prizes, gift cards from all the eateries that have participated.
Great.
And so everybody wins. Come on.
Right.
You win by getting a tasty treat no matter what.
All right.
The Salvation Army wins. All this goes to help childhood hunger, prevent that,
Good.
and as well as help our veterans. And then the businesses are getting wonderful promotions through this. And so
Wonderful.
it's great.
All right. Well, go to tastegooddogood.net. There's a picture of the landing page, tastegooddogood.net. There's a landing page, and go to all those places, get fat, and then call and blame Sherry, okay? Thanks for coming in, you guys.
Thank you, guys.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
All
you.
right, God bless. All right. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
My great deliverer, my strong defender, the Son of God. I trust in Jesus, blessed Redeemer.
Your yard is where life happens, but it can be muddy and hard to maintain. Enjoy a maintenance-free artificial turf lawn all year round with Smart Lawn LLC. No mowing, no fertilizing, no watering. Our synthetic grass is beautiful and resilient. It's certified to be lead-free, and there's no need for pesticides. Safe for your children and pets. Smart Lawn LLC has all your artificial turf and putting green areas covered beautifully. 541-941-3538.
Hey, this is Ed, co-owner of Visiting Angels. To continue to serve our seniors, we need more caregivers with a heart to serve. Our mission statement is honoring the art of giving, which means we honor you, the caregiver. We know it's our people that make Visiting Angels the best in-home care provider and a great place to work. Come be our next amazing caregiver. Give us a call or apply online. At Visiting Angels, we're committed to you because we honor the art of giving.
We love staying connected with you, our amazing Dove partners. That's why we created the Studio Insider, your complimentary magazine packed with everything happening at the Dove. See how your support is changing lives, check out our TV and radio schedules, meet our team in the staff spotlight, enjoy faith-filled reflections, a fun crossword puzzle, and so much more. It's your inside look at the Dove.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Welcome to Mornings on the Dove. Everybody take a big breath. North Korea and South Korea were trying to warm relations. Well, it ended up a little too hot, I guess.
This guy is over the top.
They said it's one of the most advanced fighter aircraft in the world.
Jesus willed that his own executioners keep on living, and that's astounding. What mercy.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Hi, welcome back. Like I said, it's too bad that last segment wasn't Smell-O-Vision.
It was so
amazing.
yummy.
Oh, good stuff all the way around. Good morning to you. Happy Friday. A lot going on. But let's check out Wall Street. Let's see how it's going and going to end up the week. Thank you, Preston over at Smart Lawn. He helps us with this. And in the meantime, the Dow continues to be up a little bit. It's up about 53 points this morning after a pretty good high yesterday. But look at the bottom number, 50,901. The NAS is down a little bit, 126, and the S&P down about 9. So 1 foot on the gas, 2 feet on the brakes this morning. In the meantime, let's take a look and see what's happening with gold. Gold is back on the climb.
Okay, finish, and then I'll tell you.
Okay, 42.10 for the gold. Silver's up a few pennies. Not much, but it is up a little bit, 66.55. And crude oil, look at that, folks. We went from 87 to 84.5, so it is down.
I had a little giggle there. I had the image in my head with 1 foot on the gas and 2 on the brake, and I'm like, where does the third one come from?
Here we got
So I couldn't
to put your foot
out.
that way.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right. Good stuff all the way around. All right.
We have CBN.
We do, and this is kind of interesting because our good friend, let's see here. Oh, Julie Stahl will be with us there on CBN talking about, is there a deal with Iran? Could this signing of this deal happen this weekend? Well, let's check in with CBN News and find out.
President Trump announced on Thursday they had reached a great settlement on the war with Iran.
It's a very strong memorandum of understanding that is a little conceptual, but it's something that's going to get done. I would say they want to sign it more, maybe a lot more, but it's a very detailed memorandum of understanding, also agreed to by many other countries that have great influence over them, and everybody wants it done.
Key to the deal, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon.
They will not have a nuclear weapon. They've agreed to that. They will not only not have, they will not purchase, develop in any way, shape, or form a nuclear weapon.
And the Strait of Hormuz is supposed to reopen quickly.
The strait will officially open as soon as we sign, which could be soon, very soon, maybe over the weekend, in Europe.
Trump predicted a deal a number of times already, and it hasn't happened. But he says this time is different.
They've taken a pounding like very few people could take, and they want to make the deal a lot more than I do.
The president says he understands the supreme leader has approved the deal. According to online reports, the agreement includes extending the U.S.-Iran ceasefire by at least 60 days, clearing mines, reopening the Strait of Hormuz within 30 days to international shipping, and relieving sanctions on Iran. Meanwhile, the nuclear talks and talks on a ceasefire on all fronts would continue during the 60 days. Trump says he had spoken to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Qatar, the UAE, Saudi Arabia, and others in the region. According to reports in Israeli media, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was caught off guard by the announcement, but his office released a statement after Netanyahu spoke with Trump, saying he expressed his appreciation for President Trump's commitment to the key points of the deal. Julie Stahl, CBN News, Jerusalem.
And our CBN Middle East Bureau Chief Chris Mitchell joins us now to continue our coverage. So, Chris, we heard the president say that there's a memorandum of understanding, but are there still misunderstandings to be resolved?
Well, that's exactly what some people are over here saying. Is it a memorandum of understanding or a memorandum of misunderstanding? According to President Trump, they've agreed on the text of a deal. But according to Iran, it's still not finalized. As Julie said in her report, President Trump says he expects a signing ceremony maybe over the weekend. But there are other issues, other reports. Al Arabiya is reporting that it has not yet been approved by the supreme leader. Iran's foreign ministry says, quote, they have not yet reached a final decision. In the memorandum of understanding, apparently Iran would make certain commitments on its nuclear program. The Strait of Hormuz would reopen. but possibly Iran would be given temporary sanctions waivers to sell oil for 60 days. Also left unresolved, apparently, is what happens to billions of Iranian frozen dollars that are not in their hands. And the U.S. may release those in stages. Iran really needs the money. And then this could be what many people say, an economic lifeline to the regime, because their number one need right now is money. And I think that's one of the main conditions they are talking about during this memorandum of understanding.
What have we heard from people inside Iran?
You know, Ephraim, I think the people inside Iran, I think, have been largely forgotten in the last few months. This all began with their protests at the end of 2025 on December 28th. And then famously, literally tens of thousands were murdered by the regime. What are they saying right now? Some of the things they're saying, Ephraim, is that they want to be armed. We've seen videos been released by Iranians inside the country that want them to be armed. And so right now, that's a possibility. We assume maybe the CIA or the Mossad is doing something like that. But right now, they are fearful of retribution, that there would be executions and torture. And they believe that if this regime is allowed to survive, that they're going to be the targets. The number one enemy, besides anybody in the region for Iran, the number one enemy they expect they may turn on their own people. And this is a regime, as we've reported many times, really has an apocalyptic version of the end times.
Chris, what do we know about how the church is doing inside Iran?
Well, as we're reporting, it's a good reminder, Ephraim, it's the fastest growing church per capita in the world. Many people are coming through dreams and visions of Jesus. They really need prayer. Evangelism is going on. For example, Mohabbat TV. This is something that CBN has been doing for 20 years. But the church is growing, and they certainly need prayer right now from people all over the world, because they, like all of the Iranians, are suffering under this regime, and particularly so, Christians are being persecuted for their faith.
I understand you had to stop earlier today. Exactly where were you, and what was the significance?
Well, that's why I got a little red on my face right now, Ephraim. I was in Shiloh, not too far from here, about 20 miles away. It's where the Ark of the Covenant was for 369 years, where Hannah prayed for a son, and that the Lord gave her Samuel. Amazing archaeological discoveries going on right now. We'll have a full Jerusalem dateline in the near future, but an amazing site, and it really connects the Bible to the land of the Bible, because what's being discovered goes exactly what the Bible says happened in Shiloh. They're finding that exactly. They've discovered where they believe the Holy of Holies was, and where the Ark of the Covenant was as well.
Well, we'll see. Will they get on a secret plane and fly to, I wonder where they would go in Europe. Where would they do this? Geneva? And that's kind of the spot where they go sometimes to do things like this.
Yeah, Germany, Switzerland. I mean, in a way, you can pick probably most any country. But yeah, that's a good point. Like, where would they go?
Where would they go?
Where would you go?
Where would I go?
To Europe.
You know what I'd do?
What?
I'd take them to a little place somewhere along the Rogue River.
Oh.
You know, maybe take them down to Paradise Lodge, where they have to take a jet boat to get there. You know, I'd chill them out.
Disconnect them.
They actually could land helicopters there. Take them down to Paradise Lodge, sit them down, you know, give them a good old-fashioned American hamburger and fries.
Mm-hmm.
You know, chill them out a little bit, you know.
Maybe a couple donuts.
Yeah, a couple donuts, and say, all right.
Let's make a deal.
Hand them both a pen, say, sign and get out of here. All right, that's kind of what's going on from there. Let's check out the weather with Alfred this morning. Oh, your mic is over.
I turned it on, yeah.
Right,
my mic was off. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Let's check out the weather with Alfred this morning.
Here's a look at our weather from Grange Co-op. Across northern Oregon and southern Washington, sunshine warms the region. Vancouver reaches 79, Portland and Wilsonville both top out at 80, and McMinnville checks in near 81. Through the Willamette Valley, sunny conditions continue with highs near 81 in Salem, sunny and 80 in Albany and Corvallis, and near 79 in Eugene, with overnight lows settling back into the low 50s. Central Oregon stays sunny with Prineville pushing 83, Bend near 82, and Sun River around 81 this afternoon. Overnight lows cool back into the 40s while Boise stays sunny and warm with a high near 86. Along the Oregon coast, sunny skies in Coos Bay with a high near 70 down through Brookings near 66. Port Orford stays sunny and breezy in the mid-60s, while Crescent City turns sunny and breezy with highs near 70. In southern Oregon, sunny and warmer with highs climbing to 90 in Grants Pass and near 93 in Medford. Ashland reaches 88, while Klamath Falls tops out near 84 with lows tonight in the 50s. Northern California stays hot under sunny skies with Wairika climbing to 92, while Redding surges to 106 and Chico 103 under a heat advisory. Along the coast, Fort Bragg stays much cooler with highs near 62. Across the Bay Area, sunny conditions continue with highs in the upper 80s for Santa Rosa and Napa. San Francisco peaks at 75, while San Jose heats up to 94 with a heat advisory. Through Central California, triple-digit heat settles in with Sacramento near 100, while Stockton and Modesto climb to 101. Fresno and Visalia reach 102, and Bakersfield near 103 under heat advisories. It's a look at your Friday weather from Grange Co-op.
Beautiful shot. Look at that. Drew, it is, what's the word I'm looking for? That's directly west from the top of the mountain. Isn't that pretty?
Beautiful.
That's our valley. And a lot going on out there. Beautiful day. Beautiful day.
You follow weather and rain reports and all that.
A little bit. I like weather. I like looking at it, watching it. I like studying it a little bit. I'm not pro at it by any means.
So what are the water reserves and the rain?
Now, I am a little
situation?
concerned about that, coming out of the farm background. The only thing I can tell you is we are, I don't want to be negative, I've got to be factual here. We're heading into a really serious year of low water, high temperatures. I was talking to the people here at the airport preparing for the aviation part of firefighting, make sure we have enough fuel for the aircraft if things break out. The philosophy of fighting fires over the years has changed a little bit, and that is they get on them a whole lot faster than they used to.
Are they all private?
No, these are all contracted things. The government will contract aviation companies to do the aerial attack. But we are, we've changed the way we do it. We're on them much, much faster, okay? The farmers are being told that they could run out of water earlier this year than they have in the past because the lakes are low. We just didn't have the snow runoff, and that's serious. Peggy and I were sitting in our backyard the other day, and we looked at one of our trees in the backyard, and it's stressed like crazy. And you go, wow, what's going on with this tree, you know?
Is that would that be because there is less water in the ground or just less rain coming down?
A little of both, I think. You know, it's.
Can you do anything about it to help the tree? I feel bad for it.
Well, I guess you get call an arbiter to come out and, is that what you call them? Arbiters?
Tree
arborist, arbiter? Anyway, somebody will correct me here in 2 seconds. But yeah, there's something you can do. I think there's things you can put in the ground to feed them or something like that.
Not fertilize, but yeah, like you said, hydrate.
But anyway, to answer your question, yeah, we're seriously in water trouble and conservation. And I would say to this, you know, over in Klamath, they're paying farmers not to farm. They're paying them like $485 an acre not to farm. That's a big decision. That's a big decision to do. Are you going to make less money? Are you going to risk farming? Maybe only have one harvest instead of 3. The hay guys are maybe get 2 cuts this year instead of 4. Already the bales per acre are a whole lot less than they were last year at the same time. All this stuff is working out there.
Yeah, and I wonder too if, I don't know, you can answer this question. When you farm, does the soil have to be continuously used or can you take break? Is it...
Well, if you're going to do it biblically, you rotate crops. If you're going to do it biblically, and you should, you know, Jubilee, you let everything rest.
But taking a break like these farmers may, will it damage their, or will it act? No, okay.
No, it could actually be healthy.
Okay.
You know, but and if you get away from the GMO guys, that's a whole nother can of worms. But anyway, did I answer your question? I don't think I did, but anyway.
What was my question?
I have no idea. Go to Ronald Reagan.
It's June 12th, and 1987 was one of those moments that we all remember, and if we weren't there, that we remember seeing the footage of that, because it is on this day when Ronald Reagan delivered his famous speech, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down that wall.
Behind me stands a wall that encircles the free sectors of this city, part of a vast system of barriers that divides the entire continent of Europe. General Secretary Gorbachev, if you seek peace, if you seek prosperity for the Soviet Union and Eastern Europe, if you seek liberalization, come here to this gate. Mr. Gorbachev, open this gate. Mr. Gorbachev. Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall.
Well, those of us who were around then remember that, and if you go to the Reagan Library, which I have not been there, it is on my bucket list, there is a piece, a big chunk of that wall mounted on the outside of his library there. Pretty remarkable. By the way, those two lines were taken out of the speech numerous times by his speechwriters and advisors. Peggy Noonan being one of his key speechwriters, but others in there said, told him, "Don't say that. It's a little too touchy to say." And what did he do? He put it back in.
Yeah, one of the most historic speeches.
Yep. Sunday, as you can tell, behind us, we've been seeing Old Glory has been waving all morning long here, and it's because Sunday is Flag Day. And here is President Ronald Reagan again, back in 1985, talking about Flag Day.
Every time we place our hand over a heart and pledge allegiance to the flag, we'll be reminded that our most precious inheritance is freedom, and that history has bestowed on our nation the unique responsibility for its protection.
It was the massive flag that waved above Fort McHenry and survived a 25-hour bombardment from British forces during the War of 1812 that inspired Francis Scott Key to write a poem which later became the lyrics to the Star-Spangled Banner. In 1985, President Ronald Reagan observed the 100th anniversary of Flag Day at Baltimore's Fort McHenry.
Our forefathers were motivated by something bigger than themselves. From the harsh winter of Valley Forge to the blazing night above Fort McHenry, those patriot soldiers were sustained by the ideal of human freedom. For with the birth of our nation, the cause of human freedom had become forever tied to that flag and its survival. From the mountains of Kentucky to the shores of California to the Sea of Tranquility on the moon, our pioneers carried our flag before them, a symbol of the indomitable spirit of a free people. And let us never forget that in honoring our flag, we honor the American men and women who have courageously fought and died for it over the last 200 years.
Today, the Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation and Institute commemorates the 1777 adoption of our Stars and Stripes and observes our National Flag Day on June 14th. As Francis Scott Key wrote, "Long may she wave."
Yes. Well, that's Sunday. You can put it up your flag anytime, just long as you fly it correctly and honor it. That's what this Sunday's all about.
Sunday's Flag Day. Sunday is President Trump's 80th birthday, and Sunday kicks off the celebrations of the 250th birthday of our nation with the big UFC fight on the lawn in front of the White House. And, you know, whether you like those fights or not, it will be a pretty big deal because they always draw. Not only 4,000 people will be there in attendance, plus thousands for the watching parties around the area, but millions watch it all over the world. And this time it will be the UFC ring with the White House in the background.
Yeah, the setting is pretty remarkable.
Yeah. And this will kick off the series of other events culminating in the 4th of July. So buckle up.
There we go. All right, we're going to take a Salvation Army donut break. We'll be right back.
Lord, I'm longing for your ways. I'm waiting for the day.
Jerry's Historical Archives. U.S. History. Great moments in time. Record breakers. Our music through the years. Historic leaders. Moments to remember. Go back in time. Back in the day. TV shows of the past. Nostalgia.
It's a wonderful trip down memory lane with fun and interesting stories you might not know about. Relive the past and learn something new.
Open up Jerry's Historical Archives. Weekdays only on Mornings on the Dove.
All right, welcome back. And I had an interesting gentleman on the other day. His name is Dr. Andrew Fox. Now, I don't know where you found him, because Penalina produces Focus Today and helps me get these guests. But I ended up absolutely fascinated by this guy. He now lives in Texas. He's from the UK. Before all of that, he was an Assembly of God pastor. Now he's an Anglican priest. And I talked to him about making that switch, which was really interesting. But he wrote a book called The Age of Applause and Why We Must Be Willing to Stand Up for Our Christian Faith. It's an amazing thing. It has a lot to do with the me, you know, and how that's really backfiring. But anyway, here's a little bit of his description of his book.
The book uses Dietrich Bonhoeffer's interpretation of stupidity, a brilliant man, very sadly put to death by the Nazi regime just months before the end of the Second World War, the only theologian to go up against Adolf Hitler. His definition of stupidity was this: it's not that you lack intelligence or knowledge or even the experience. It's the fact that you abandon moral and truthful, independent thought just to go along with the prevailing ideology. Of course, he was speaking to Nazi Germany as the prevailing ideology, but the same principles apply today. It's watching hordes of people applaud things without even any independent thought or moral guidance. So we see this in corporations. We see it in school districts. We see it in church districts or dioceses or church groups where we change language and then we bring policy to that language. And then we enforce anyone using that language wrongly. And then we bring consequences to that. And it creeps in and creeps in and creeps until it becomes law. And so I come back to my original statement that the voice in the wilderness needs to come out. And this book is a particular voice in the wilderness. I quote depositions and some very sensitive things that need to be named and stated. so truth prevails. And again, I've got to go through a few legal loopholes to get that completely vetted. But it's 17 steps of how all this creeps into a family, an organization, a church, a school district, a government, or anything like that. And then how do we stand against this? And one thing we have to readdress is there is a cost to speaking up for truth. And if I can say with the greatest respect, I think my home country in England and now my wonderful adopted country of the United States needs to really embrace the persecution that comes through standing up for truth, the loss of friends, the loss of a job, the loss of opportunity. But Jesus said if we are forsaken by all these things, he'll never forsake us, and the righteous never beg for bread. So we've got to now move from theory to the field of practice with our Christian faith.
Well, do you know what you believe? Do you know why you believe it? And can you gracefully defend it? And are you willing to die for it? Whoever thought that would be the case in Christendom, but it is. All you got to do is look at church history, and you'll see it.
I was going to say, only if Christ warned us about it.
Yeah.
He did.
All right.
So,
I got some great guests coming up, but you got a great show, too.
Yes. So, of course, you got great guests coming up. I scheduled them. No, they are great. And then on Sunday, I have a show that I host. It's called The Ancient Church, and that's where I invite Orthodox priests, and we talk about different things. It could be prayer, it could be repentance, whatever it is. And this guest coming up on Sunday, we just talked about why young people are coming to church, specifically young men. And then we talked about the baggage they bring with them, the spiritual state that they're in, and how the Orthodox Church, Orthodoxy, Christ helps them heal. And here's what Father Thomas Frisby said.
The Orthodox Church is very clear that sin is not a matter of guilt, it's a matter of an illness. And so it's crucially important to remember that they are suffering from an ailment of the mind and of the nous and the soul, however you want to term that. And so we have to constantly look for ways to encourage them to overcome this and to give them, like I said, the tools, accountability with me, with their Godfather, and just having those open conversations. I would say that as rampant as drug addiction and alcoholism is in our society, I think pornography is a more destructive addiction in many respects because it's subtle, it's hidden, it overtakes their mind, if you will. And so the reality is in confession, rarely do I, give a real strong penance as far as like, okay, a year, no communion or whatever. And some people would disagree with that. I understand that. But I'm trying to find a pastoral way to be able to help them to overcome these impulses of the flesh. And so I'll make, like I said, suggestions. Let's try this. Let's see if this helps. And then I'll say to them, get back to me and let me know how you're doing and stuff, Some of them kind of duck out. They don't want to admit it. But when they start to realize that I'm not going to sit in judgment over them, I'm not going to look at them and say, oh, you're a terrible person because you're struggling with these sins, then they start to relax and they start to continue to work on it. And then I tell them, the last thing is I say, here's the real sin that you might encounter. The real sin will be when you say, this is just my struggle and I'll always be like that. Then you're done because you have not continued to rely upon the grace of God and the hope of His Holy Spirit transforming you. It's when we give up that we're just lost.
And that interview is coming up on Sunday at 6 p.m. on the Dove.
Check it out. All right, don't forget to put your flag up on Sunday, any day, but Sunday is Flag Day. We'll see you next time.
Have a good weekend.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and 1% back on most purchases, but you also become part of something bigger, a cooperative that you own and help shape. Join Grange Rewards today.
Applegate River Golf and RV Resort, a pristine 9-hole course alongside the Applegate River. Their clubhouse offers a golf simulator experience. The RV Resort is adjacent to the golf course with convenient pull-through parking. Applegate River Golf and RV Resort. Information at applegaterv.com.
When life feels heavy, your body feels it, your mind feels it. That is why I created Organic Elements Wellness Spa, a place where wellness is not a luxury, it's a way of life. Step into our wellness lounge with a Himalayan salt room, infrared sauna, steam room, and invigorating cold plunge. Restore your nervous system, detox your body, and clear your mind. Then experience customized massage, advanced skin therapies, and result-driven facials, all designed to help you look as good as you feel. There's nothing else like this in Southern Oregon. This is your space to heal, to reset, to glow. Call today to book your private wellness party for up to 15 guests or surprise someone special with a gift certificate.
Visit Organic Elements Wellness Spa on East Main Street in Medford. Book online at organicelementspa.com. Wellness is wholeness. Voted best of Southern Oregon. Experience evangelism like never before with the award-winning Way of the Master, Thursday and Friday on the Dove TV. Here's a recipe for a great morning. Get plenty of rest. Spend quality time with God. Have a good breakfast. Then add a generous helping of Perry, Jerry, and Mornings on the Dove. They'll get you ready for the day with encouragement and information.
Good morning to you. Happy Monday. Here we are.
Mixing in the latest news, weather to plan your day, an inspiring reminder from God's Word, baked with timely insights and discussions on today's headlines.
Do you realize how many headlines are out there this morning?
Oh, man. And of course, lots of laughs, fun, and encouragement they're famous for.
That is no joke, Barry. That's not a joke. That's real. I've seen pictures of that.
To bring you a smile before you start the day. Make Mornings on the Dove part of your morning recipe.
Anyway, good morning to you.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 8 a.m. only on the Dove TV and radio. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us. Get ready to experience evangelism like never before.
What did you have to do to come back like this?
Each time you come back, you get closer to God.
Ray, tell us about your past life as a Chihuahua.
Way of the Master on the Dove TV delivers thought-provoking interviews between their dynamic co-host team and captivating witnessing encounters.
Have you ever read the Bible?
I read the first page.
You haven't got past the first page.
Tackling hard questions with biblical wisdom and bold street witnessing that will leave you inspired and equipped to share your faith.
So, hey, why should I let you into my kingdom? And you say to him, because I was true to myself.
Each episode will leave you better equipped to carry the good news into the world in this unique, award-winning reality TV show that will leave you saying, I can do that.
My prayer life goes on steroids when I'm witnessing. It's like...
Learn how to share your faith with Way of the Master, Thursdays and Fridays on the Dove TV.
Well, welcome to Focus Today. I'm your host, Perry Atkinson, and always honored when we get to talk to people from the Epoch Times. He is the senior editor. We're talking about Jan Jekielek. I'm hoping I pronounced that correctly. He is the senior editor there and the host of the long-form interview program called American Thought Leaders. He's the author of a newly released book entitled Killed to Order, China's Oregon Harvesting Industry and the True Nature of America's Biggest Adversary. Wow. And there is the picture of the cover of the book on the screen. And his website is his name, JanJekielek.com. Jan, did I say that right?
Perry, you got it. I'd say top 1 percentile.
Only because my producer and 3 other people came in here and slowly told me how to say it. Good to see you. Thanks.
Well, my parents came from communist Poland, actually. They escaped in the 70s, and so that's how I got this name. Very proud of it.
Really good. You say it. Well, let me hear you say it.
Jan Jekielek.
Jan Jekielek. Okay, got it. Thanks. All right. Well, a lot going on here. Hey, by the way, thanks for all you guys do over there at your organization. Outstanding in all your work. Why did you take on China? What's behind this book?
Well, I was in the China human rights space in the early 2000s, and I already knew that China had this basically history of taking on and attacking religious groups, people of faith in general, frankly, even pro-democracy activists. I mean, all sorts of different people were really subjected to the boot of the regime. And when I mean boot of the regime, in many cases, situations, people were killed in horrible ways. So I was involved in the China human rights space in the early 2000s. And about 2006, I got hit over the head with evidence of something that I really didn't want to believe, which was there was an Israeli transplant surgeon named Yaakov Levy who had a patient who basically told him one day he was waiting for a heart, right? Yaakov was a heart transplant surgeon, former head of the Israeli Transplant Association. And this patient basically told him, I'm going to China and I'm getting it done in 2 weeks scheduled. And of course, Yaakov couldn't believe it, all these red flags going off, but the guy went and did it and came back. And at that point, Yaakov started campaigning to try to get a law passed in Israel that would prevent anyone from ever going to China again. But just to frame it for you, right, the red flags were, number one, a scheduled heart transplant. So the way it happens in an ethical system is someone needs to actually have a catastrophic accident, right? And if it's scheduled, that means someone's scheduling that catastrophic accident. The second part is the 2 weeks. And, you know, if you want, I can kind of lay out for you how they did that. It's actually a little bit of a story, a little bit of a setup. But it turns out that it's the exact reverse of what happens in an actual ethical transplantation system like we have in the U.S.
And that is?
So in China, there's been this history by the Chinese Communist Party of creating what are called black classes. I don't know if any people have heard of this, but basically the first black class were landowners. And landowners were people who obviously had land, and the communists, when they took power in 49, wanted to take it from them, right? But they weren't going to do it easily. Like, if you worked your whole life to get this land or you've inherited it, you're not just going to pass it off to the communists. And also we have friends too. So they had to convince people that this was okay. So what they did was they started pushing mass dehumanizing propaganda into the population, basically to convince the population that these people are dangerous, that they do horrible things, that they're beneath you. You know, actually very similar to 1930s Germany propaganda that was used against the Jewish people. And they have this long history of creating these black classes. Falun Gong practitioners in 1999 became the newest black class. And this was like an ancient meditation discipline, truthfulness, compassion, tolerance. This is what these people were practicing. But these were also turned out to be the first group that would actually resist being black class, because being black class didn't mean that you would kill everybody. It just meant that you had to kind of profess your sins. If you were a landowner, you had to say, thank you for taking my land, O great Communist Party, land is evil, all these kinds of things. Well, the Falun Gong would refuse, the 70 to 100 million of them that were in China at the time, so a huge number, refused to basically subject themselves to the regime. They refused to give up their beliefs, so they incarcerated a massive number of them. And these were the two pillars of what actually got this kill to order industry to happen. One, you have a large dehumanized population that now is incarcerated by maybe 1 million, we don't know how many, but a huge number. So they started blood typing, tissue typing, and organ scanning these people, okay? So in an ethical system, you have this catastrophic accident, you have one person who suddenly appears, and there's this field of people waiting for this transplant, and there's an algorithm used to determine who actually will get the transplant of the many people that are waiting, who sometimes wait months or years because it's a rare phenomenon for a whole bunch of reasons, okay? In China, it's the opposite. They have a database of incarcerated prisoners of conscience, okay? And then when a wealthy transplanteur with very loose morals, let's say, comes and pays their 100 or 200 grand, there's one recipient that shows up, and there's this whole field of possible donors. And because there's so many people in the database, that perfect match exists. And they can then ship and kill that person to order. That's what happens in communist China. And that's why I called my book Killed to Order. By the way, killedtoorder.com is where it can be found. Thank you.
How are you supposed to process this?
When I first started to grapple with the ideas that there could be a large-scale organ bank of innocent people being used for organs at scale. We're talking 60 to 90,000 transplants a year. So this is, like a $9 billion annual industry. And by the way, if you're a Chinese super elite, you have unlimited access to these organs in perpetuity. Right. So, as this was sort of dawning on me, the implications of all of this, it was actually really hard to process. And my mind didn't want to go there. In fact, this is one of the challenges we've had with trying to get awareness raised about this issue for the last 20 years, because most people just think, nah, I don't want to think about it. This is just too extreme. But I have noticed that lately, maybe it was the COVID years, that's my kind of hypothesis, that we saw, for example, communist China welding people into their homes, right, in their quest for this zero COVID policy. We kind of started getting an idea of how that regime could think, its mentality. So maybe we're ready to actually process it. That's the reason I actually wrote Kill to Order now, because I felt like people are maybe ready to start processing it in a deeper way. And instead of just immediately reject it, they do what you said, is how do you process this, right?
Is there any kind of a pushback in China? I mean, I would imagine they're not even allowed to, but you would think people with conscience would begin to show up somewhere.
Well, so here's the odd thing, right? In China, it's only the super elite. The super elite is about 11 million people who have this special red card status. It's only those people that really know for sure that this exists. For most people, it's kind of like an urban myth, if you can imagine. Like in the prisons, people will say, be good, or I'll harvest you, or something like that. But really, for most people, they could never get one of these transplants because they're not part of that, the so-called animals that are more equal than others. So I think for most people, it's in this kind of gray zone area. For these super elites, what you've had to do to get and maintain that status, I think a lot of people are either their consciences have been very, very deeply suppressed, or they're part of the people that have these psychopathic tendencies that think such things are totally okay, or they know that if they do talk about it, their whole family is going to get wiped out or something like this. The Communist Party is not kind to people that stand up to it.
Okay, so has that harvesting moved from landowners to Christians?
So It started with the Falun Gong practitioners, right? And they, for about 14 or 15 years, they basically used the Falun Gong primarily. You saw this massive growth as they incarcerated these massive groups of people. State Department said half of the people in 2005 in this re-education through labor camp system were Falun Gong practitioners. Basically, that was the main group. But then 2014, 2015, the regime picks another group. This is the Uyghur Muslims in the northwest of China and Xinjiang. So they actually dehumanize them similarly and then incarcerate 1 million plus of them. Now, here's the part that I'm very worried about in answer to your question directly. I was actually just talking with my friend Bob Fu, who runs the China Aid Ministry out of Midland, Texas, helps persecuted Chinese Christians. I've noticed there's been this increased, let's call it dehumanizing rhetoric, okay? The same type of stuff that was used against the Falun Gong, that was used against the Uyghurs. I've seen an uptick in that, especially as they're arresting various church leaders, right? Like the Zion church leaders, as they're starting to put controls on the Catholic clergy. I'm very concerned it could spread to Christians. I'm very concerned about that because this dehumanization part always precedes the atrocity. But I don't have a lot of documentation that there's been large numbers of Christians incarcerated, which is what you would need to actually achieve that. So I hope it never happens, but this type of atrocity does spread.
Given the overall philosophy of the CCP, religion is their biggest enemy. So that would take in all faiths, wouldn't it?
That's right. And I think they just kind of go, the Falun Gong were the ones, actually, one of the sort of my personal heroes is a man named Gao Zhisheng. He was this, lawyer that was the conscience of China, actually a very devout Christian himself. And he commented early on, the reason they got so fixated on the Falun Gong, which he would defend, is because they were kind of uniquely publicly exposing the regime for its crimes and the horrible things it was doing to people. So that they pick the people that are the most vocal, that are the most sort of overt. But absolutely, you're exactly right. For example, ever since this there's this Vatican deal that was passed some years ago between the Vatican and communist China, where there's actually, like communists being put in as bishops and clergy and stuff like that. It's actually hasn't worked well for the Catholics in China, even that deal. They've been suppressed even further. So I don't understand the logic of that. But absolutely, every faith, especially any religion, any people that actually stand up like Gao Zhisheng did, he was disappeared 10 years ago, and or actually more than 10 years ago now, and we don't know where he is. I hope he's alive because he's a real hero for the Chinese people.
All right, let me take a break here. What's the, is it the killtoorderbook.com? What is that? Where is that website?
Killtoorder.com, that's right. If you want to get the book, this is the book right here. Killtoorder.com is the link that takes you directly to Amazon. You can also get it actually for your library, or if you prefer local bookstore, you're not an Amazon person, that's totally fine. I actually prefer that in some ways, but Amazon lets you do one click, so that's why I linked killtoorder.com to Amazon.
Thank you. All right, let me take a quick break. We'll be back with Jan in just a moment.
Black Barn Kitchen and Deli is a farm-to-table restaurant located in the historic schoolhouse in Jacksonville. Offering upscale dining and casual fare, enjoy brunch, deli, and dinner. Featuring local source ingredients we grow. A warm sense of comfort greets you as you're surrounded by stunning artwork by my wife. We're a community-based business. With every sandwich you purchase, we give one back to our community. It's a feel-good experience. Come visit the Black Barn Kitchen and Deli in Jacksonville.
I'm Susanna, and I contracted KA Designs to do custom cabinets throughout my house. We chose a really beautiful maple wood that really creates like a nice airy space. Everything was custom, and it was really cool because I got to literally see it come to life in person. We love to entertain, and we have a large family, so everything came together perfectly, exactly what I wanted. I highly suggest KA Designs if you're looking to design your dream house. Go check them out in their showroom. You will not be disappointed.
Do events in the world leave you confused and scratching your head? A world where up is down and down is up.
I'm Perry Atkinson. Mornings on the Dove knows how you feel. We're here to offer God's hope and encouragement and to help you to sort it all out.
And I'm Jerry Bilden. Mornings on the Dove alerts you to issues and events the mainstream media would rather you not know or know the truth.
A lot in the news today, some movement around in the Middle East, common sense discussions on today's headlines, and rational perspective on what's really going on.
That will leave you better informed and encouraged by the gospel.
In this upside-down world, there's one place you can trust to get it straight.
Check into Mornings on the Dove each day to find out what's really going on and to be encouraged.
Mornings on the Dove, weekdays from 6 to 8 a.m. on the Dove TV and radio. Streaming online at thedove.us, Roku, and Apple TV. The Dove, encouraging and informative.
Okay, welcome back. And my brain's on tilt here, but we'll get through it. I am honored to have with us today Jan Jekielek. He is the senior editor there at the Epoch Times and also the host of their long-form interview program titled The American Thought Leaders. But his book is stunning. It'll bend your brain, called Killed to Order, China's Organ Harvesting Industry and the True Nature of America's Biggest Adversary. There's a picture of the book on the screen, and you can go killedtoorder.com and get connected right through in order to get a copy of it. Jan, I was trying to think through the break. Gosh, my brain's on tilt with all this. Is what you have written about here and you have researched pretty much underlines the philosophy and maybe even the lack of spirituality underpinnings of the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party. I can only put one word to that: evil. And if they are killing to order, then the rest of their philosophy has to be not only spiritually dead, but just flat evil on how they carry out other things under the guise of whatever they want to make it. Or am I going too far?
100%. And just to highlight this for you, I don't know if you remember, but back in September, there was this, what people call the hot mic moment, where Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Kim Jong-un were in Tiananmen Square observing a military parade. And I'll just paraphrase what this hot mic moment was. Xi says to Putin, when we're 70, we're just babies. I'm paraphrasing, of course, right? And they're both just over 70. Putin responds, through continual organ transplantation, maybe even we can achieve immortality. And then Xi responds, he says, our aim, our target is 150 years. See, 150 years, they have this elite longevity project in China, the super elites. It's called Project 981. They like to use numbers for projects, okay? And this has been going for years, and they themselves say that basically it's a 16-year increase in longevity from the average age. It's astonishing. But I had, until this moment, it hadn't actually dawned on me. I knew about this elite longevity project, and I knew about the forced organ harvesting, this kill to order. But I didn't realize that the kill to order was this centerpiece of this elite longevity project, right? So you understand, like, this is, you mentioned the word evil. I don't mention that as much because a lot of people in our society today don't understand this word, or maybe even some of them believe that it isn't something that's real. But if this isn't evil, I don't know what is.
Okay. In the meantime, China has one of the most sophisticated surveillance states in history. I mean, they're monitoring everything and everybody. It's kind of mind-boggling that they're able to do it. How deep does that really go?
Unbelievably deep. And, there's actually a case in front of the Supreme Court right now. It's called Cisco v. Doe, okay? And this case, they're actually looking at whether or not it's okay to take to trial a case where Cisco Systems is accused of having basically sold its services to build surveillance and entrapment and so forth technology. This was way back in the early 2000s for communist China. And they basically said, according to the materials I've reviewed, we're going to help you capture and, in effect, persecute Falun Gong practitioners to do this. Okay? So what I'm trying just to say here is that we, at least according to these allegations, and they seem pretty credible to me, right? We helped build that. And by the way, a few years after that, the Chinese reverse engineered this and kicked Cisco out. And now they have this very deep, all-encompassing technology where, for example, Huawei, of course, they control every company within it. Huawei is one of their marquee companies. This is their telecom system, right? So everything, all the devices are feeding all the information, whether it's video, audio, into the system. And there's a whole social credit system, right? And this social credit system works in real time, okay? I actually know of examples of even Westerners who have been in China where they actually jaywalk and they see their social credit score go down instantly because the 100 or 200 cameras that were watching them at that moment as they crossed the street already matched it to the person, already saw their social credit score go down. Now, if your social credit score go down enough, for example, you say things against the regime, or there's all sorts of things that make you go down. Suddenly you can't take the train, you can't do all sorts of basic things because all the payments are done through the phone. So this is a really totalizing control system that will get people to kind of censor themselves and also not do all sorts of the behaviors that the regime doesn't like. So it's not based on people sort of understanding their own morality and trying to follow their conscience. Speaking to your earlier point, right? It's a system where the regime basically sets up behavioral controls and really tries to do this totalizing totalitarian approach.
Couple of sidebar quick questions because I want to come back to the culture. Do you see North Korea as a surrogate of China?
I see the North Korea as a tool of China. Like with it, the estimate is that within about 2 weeks of time, if China wasn't supporting North Korea, that regime would collapse. Basically, it allows the Chinese Communist Party to say, hey, look at this crazy, extreme totalitarian regime right beside us. Don't look at us.
Okay. Back to the culture. There's a lot of indication that their culture is in trouble economically, that they're really in a tough spot, and it's not getting better. And what's going on in Iran, and of course the closing of the strait is even making that worse. Do you have any idea just how bad it might be?
One challenge that we have is that the numbers coming out of China officially are all false. And a good way to understand Chinese numbers, official ones, is they have primarily a propaganda purpose, and whether or not they actually reflect reality is more by chance or something like that, okay? Or whether they're going to get there. It's easy for them to get caught with respect to those numbers. But the economy is in really, really rough shape. So a major pillar of their economy was real estate. And a number of these really large real estate developers have collapsed. That whole pillar of the economy collapsed, wiping out billions in basically personal savings and so forth of people. Their economy functions essentially right now based on export. And that's a very, of course, dangerous thing for them, right? And this is how the administration here in the United States is kind of leveraging this. They're trying to figure out how to, develop a more reasonable relationship with communist China, where they're not basically able to, massively dump goods and priority industries into our society. So they've established these tariffs, and what the tariffs have done is forced the Chinese basically to dump their goods in other parts of the world, especially in Europe and so forth, or to at least try to, because they actually have to sell, even if they sell at a loss, because their whole economy is driven on this. And of course, you can see this is kind of a downward spiral ultimately. The problem with these totalitarian regimes is ultimately they have to steal or reverse engineer or like buy people who have this kind of innovation that basically come up in a free society, because they can't develop that themselves. That extreme level of control does not foster the innovative mind very well.
What's your thought about them going after Taiwan?
They do not want a kinetic physical confrontation with anybody around Taiwan. What they want to do is they absolutely want Taiwan. It's actually written into, the whole kind of like, if you want to call it the zeitgeist of the entire Chinese military, is getting Taiwan. They call it reunifying, but it was never unified in the first place. But reunifying is a central feature of what the Chinese military, the People's Liberation Army, has to do. By the way, just as a fun fact, the People's Liberation Army is not the army of the country, it's the army of the Communist Party. It would be like a party having a country. So they really want this, but they want to achieve it without firing a shot, kind of like this unrestricted warfare that they've waged against us. Propaganda warfare, legal warfare, lawfare, all sorts of methods, right, to bring America down, to extract a lot of value out of America. They do the same thing with Taiwan. A lot of people don't even know this, but Taiwan has a 3 times larger GDP per capita than China.
Yeah.
It's actually economically much more successful than China. So they want them for all sorts of reasons. But if you want to see what would happen to Taiwan if they did get taken, look at what's happening in Hong Kong right now. One of the freest countries in the world economically right now. It's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, we watched Hong Kong, just really it's amazing what happened to Hong Kong. So, wow, yeah, you're fascinating. I got to get you back. My brain's on tilt from all of this, but it does underscore feelings that we've had. I don't think we know how, we use the word evil. We don't know it as you described it. We don't understand its underpinning and why we're allowing us to allow China, you know, even on the West Coast here, China's owning farmland. Why in the world are we allowing this to happen? I mean, just crazy things like that. But there seems to be a little bit of a leverage here. Their economy's in trouble. The Straits is closed. You wonder if we're now pushing back on their exporting or are importing. Maybe we're starting to get a little bit of a hold back on our intellectual property. Maybe we ought to keep this ball rolling in that direction.
Well, it really is starting, Perry. And for one really positive development is that foreign direct investment into China has gone to zero because countries actually understand very well now that they're never getting their money back. See, this is one of the interesting things, right? Like they have a closed capital account. So what that means is that if you invest in China, you could not get your money back. Like they could just say, I want to take my money back. They say, no, sorry.
Yeah.
It's ours. What do you mean what do you mean it's yours? It's my money. Well, try and get it, right? See what happens. And that they've done that a lot with all sorts of American companies who have learned the hard way. And that's part of the reason why things are heading in that direction. Thank goodness.
You're fascinating. Can I get you back?
I would love to be back.
All right. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, go Killed to Order, the book. There's a picture of the book on the screen there, .com. That's probably the best way to get a hold of this. Of course, if you're already subscribing to Epoch Times, you know the quality of work they do there. Thank you, Jan. You're fascinating. Look forward to our visit again.
Thank you. And please, killedtoorder.com. Get the book. I think you'll really enjoy it and at least understand what we're dealing with.
Okay. Thanks, buddy.
Buying or selling a home can be stressful. It's one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your lifetime. That's why it's important to work with someone you trust, someone who has the right experience and knowledge of the market.
Hi, we're Patrick and Paulina Leiser with Leiser Real Estate Group.
And whether you're looking to buy or sell a home, our mission is to take the stress out of the transaction and make it as seamless and rewarding as possible.
Contact us today. We look forward to working with you.
Have you seen Mornings on the Dove?
Another attempt on President Trump's life over the weekend. I think they hate this man so much that at any cost, at any excuse, any way, they want him gone. I think the real reason here is that he's taken 60 years of the slow evolution of the democratic stronghold in America with corruption and fraud and the advancement of socialism and turned it upside down.
Wake up to information. Mornings on the Dove, weekdays.
Come fall in love with Northridge Senior Living, where contemporary sunlit interiors meet old world elegance. Walk through our lovely hallways and enjoy the fun staff-led activities. Forge lasting friendships with other residents and our exceptional caregivers. Dine in style. Gather near the fireplace under breathtaking chandeliers. Our reasonably priced apartments are spacious with private balconies. Northridge is Christian-owned and operated, pet-friendly, and only 2 blocks from Asante Rogue Regional Medical Center. On-site, in-home care is available. We also offer senior adult daycare. Your loved one can spend the day with us and the evenings with you. Northridge Senior Living, your home.
Okay, welcome back. Of course, the big topic of the day, do we have a deal or not a deal with Iran? Will they be signing something this weekend? Will they not? Well, a lot going on there. I am honored to have with us, some perfect timing, by the way, to have Ali Sabahi with us. He is a member of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, Iran's parliament in exile, a socialist, a sociologist, by training, and he is taught at UCLA, California State University, Los Angeles, and the University of Michigan, and spent decades analyzing Iranian politics, terrorism, nuclear proliferation, and the developments, all the developments there in the Middle East. So quite the honor to have him. Ali, good to see you. How are you today?
Well, good to be with you, Perry, and thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you. All right. Do we have a deal or not?
Well, obviously, we have to wait and see whether a memorandum of understanding, as it has been framed, will be signed by the Iranian regime or not. But obviously, we as the Iranian opposition, which has been fighting this regime for 45 years, and of course, 93 million Iranians hope and wish that this conflict will be resolved peacefully through negotiations, and that at the end of the day, the world's most dangerous regime does not acquire the world's most dangerous weapon, that is nuclear weapons. But if past is prologue, the experience of the past 4 decades, and particularly since 2002, when the NCRI first revealed Iran's nuclear weapons program, that these mullahs will not give up this program through negotiations, because for them, nuclear weapons program, their missile program, and of course their intervention in the affairs of their neighbors through proxy groups or funding terrorist groups is a life insurance policy. And so they recognize that if they give up their nuclear weapons, then they won't have any lever to deal with the rest of the international community. And because they are terrified of the domestic situation, case in point, 5 major uprisings since 2017, including the latest one in January of this year, that they need to project power abroad to in many ways cajole Western governments into appeasing them and providing them with concessions, economic concessions, political concessions at the expense of the Iranian people. So while, of course, there's every hope that a deal will be reached, it remains to be seen. I think the ball is in the regime's court, and we'll see how they react.
Okay. Let me unpack this a little. Let me come back. Can you explain to us what is the current structure? Who is in charge? The Revolutionary Guard, the Supreme Leader? Who's calling the shots?
Well, naturally, the regime, after the 40-day war that resulted in the elimination of the longtime Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei and the top brass of the IRGC, has emerged much weaker and much more vulnerable. From the best that one can ascertain from this opaque regime, it seems to be that there's a council, so-called, the Supreme National Security Council, where some of the remaining commanders of the IRGC, including Ahmad Vahidi, who was for a long time the commander of the Quds Force, and as you may know, is wanted by the Interpol for his direct role in the bombing 1994 in Argentina, the AMIA bombing, which left hundreds of people, Jewish people, killed. He basically has emerged as the top IRGC official in charge. He's been assisted by a couple of others around him. And of course, they say that every decision they make through council and discussion goes back and gets the approval of Mujtaba Khamenei, who is Khamenei's son. But as to whether that is actually the case, it remains to be seen, because there are conflicting reports now as to the health of Mujtaba. But be that as it may, really the regime infrastructure, the regime's composition hasn't really changed. The people are the same. Remember, these are hardcore IRGC commanders who grew out of the 8-year Iran-Iraq war, and they are all committed to the very, very basic principles that has held the regime together for the past 4 decades, i.e. Nuclear weapons program, missile program, export of terrorism and fundamentalism, and of course, brutal repression of the population. You may know that Iran now, under this regime, is the per capita leading executioner of its own citizens. Just this year, in 2026, the last time I checked, more than 801 ordinary people have been executed, and almost 36 dissidents, political prisoners, have been executed since mid-March, including 8 members of the main opposition, the Mujahideen Khalq, and 12 more are on death row. So when it comes to the guiding principles of the regime, nothing has changed and nothing will change until and unless this regime is toppled, which of course is the sole responsibility of the Iranian opposition and the Iranian people.
So am I hearing you say, Eli, that there will not be a deal this weekend?
I mean, I cannot speculate. If they do agree to a first of all, remember, this is just a memorandum of understanding, which means that, at least based upon what I have read publicly, although there are reports that there is more to it than has been publicized, but this does not end the issue whatsoever. It just results in, if it is true, results in the opening of the Strait of Hormuz, that the blockade of the strait will be lifted, and then, of course, they will agree to engage in negotiations over the nuclear program. But as you may know, the devil is in the detail.
Right.
Recall that for 2 years, the Obama administration negotiated with the same people, and they said, yeah, we have a deal in 2015. So, and they gave them hundreds of billions of dollars in sanctions relief. And here we are in 2026, and it's all back to square one. The Iranian regime not only did not abandon its nuclear weapons program, it continued enrichment, it expanded its nuclear facilities, and now has 400 kilograms or 460 kilograms of 60% enriched uranium, which of course is a topic of negotiation and discussion as to whether it will be willing to give it up remains to be seen. And of course, as you may know, the administration has insisted, correctly of course, that the regime must have zero enrichment capability and that all of its nuclear sites have to be dismantled. But as to whether the mullahs will agree to that, the jury is still out. So we have to wait and see.
Okay, so this was a little bit of a hypothetical question, but if they sign something this weekend, given what you're telling us, this could be just another delay tactic with no intentions of following through, and which would result in further military action. But what I'm hearing you say is that if they sign, they don't mean it, and it'll fall apart.
Well, don't take my word for it. Look at the past experience. You know, back in 2002, the European Troika, Germany, France, and Britain, went to Tehran and met with the Iranian regime officials, including Hassan Rouhani, who later became president. And they negotiated and they negotiated. And this was repeated in Istanbul, They met in Geneva, they met in Vienna, but nothing happened. It was just kicking the can down the road. And so if they signed a memorandum of understanding, in my view, it's for them a sign that they are weak and they must give up something. So the mere signing of the memorandum of understanding, from our point of view, the point of view of the Iranian resistance, is a positive step. As to what follows, naturally, nobody knows, because they must not, under any circumstances, be given sanctions relief, and there must be no return to the business as usual approach that the Europeans conducted when they were negotiating with the regime in Tehran. Now, if the mullahs are not serious about negotiations, I'm sure that the Trump administration will recognize that very quickly, and so as to what action they will take to deal with this procrastination of the regime, we'll have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, if you were to ask me, what is the right course of action to take, is, look, negotiations with this regime have gotten nowhere. The 12-day war in 2025 and the 40-day war in 2026 proved that change will not come from the air and not through foreign intervention. You need the ground element, which is the Iranian people and the organized opposition, and the fusion of the network of the organized opposition with the Iranian people has the power and the capacity to bring down this regime. And that's precisely the message that 100,000 people will be conveying a week from tomorrow here in Paris, where I am, joined by more than 100 officials, distinguished former world leaders, ministers, a very stellar group of political people who will come to Paris, and they will deliver a message. They will offer a roadmap, a way out of the current crisis, that, look, if you want to deal with this issue, look to the only element, only factor that has the power to bring about real change, fundamental change, which is the Iranian people and the organized opposition.
Okay, so
that's what we feel the world, and for that matter, the United States should look to. And these negotiations will not resolve anything. Look, if the mullahs were interested in negotiating, first and foremost, they'd be negotiating with their own people. But how have they dealt with the Iranian people? 100,000 dissidents have been executed by this regime so far.
Right.
30,000 massacred in 1988 alone. And as we speak, people are being executed, in addition to thousands who were slaughtered during the January 2026 protests. So a regime which is unwilling to hear the just cries of its own citizens, you expect it to sit down and negotiate in good faith with its foreign interlocutors? Wow. At least they have proven that they're not in that kind of a business.
All right, let me take a quick break. So honored to have with us today Ali Sabavi. He's a member of the National Council of Resistance of Iran. And we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got some more questions for him. Again, thank you for your time. We'll be right back.
The Lennox iComfort S30 thermostat can sense changes in your environment. It even knows when you come and go. So now your home's most important system is also the smartest.
Metal Masters can give you the smartest home comfort system available. It knows when you're away and adjusts when allergens and humidity get uncomfortable. Trust Metal Masters to provide perfect air for your family.
Lennox. Air is life. Make it perfect.
In a world desperately seeking truth, Cliff Connectley and his son Stuart travel across the U.S. to give an answer for questions, doubts, and challenges concerning faith.
What is the evidence that Muhammad spoke the truth? What is the evidence that Jesus Christ spoke the truth?
Their mission is to ignite a passion for truth, guide individuals to embrace faith, and help people find purpose, engaging skeptics.
It kind of sounds like then that God punished us.
The vast majority of chaos in nature is a direct result of God stepping back.
They're driven by a deep commitment for spreading the message of Christ to a world who needs it.
But you see, what Satan has done is he's put doubt in our mind.
Join them as they strive to make a lasting impact on lives and hearts, sharing the love of Jesus with an unwavering dedication.
Because God loves you, and God has given you gifts.
Watch Give Me an Answer, weekdays at 3 on the Dove TV.
Hi, I'm Ryan Robertson, host of a brand new program on the Dove, Ministries on the Move. Ministries on the Move spotlights the incredible work of how God is using everyday people and organizations, putting their faith into action, serving the hurting, strengthening families, and sharing the hope of the gospel in practical ways. Be inspired and discover these Ministries on the Move. Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m., right here on the Dove TV. Encouraging and informative. More at thedove.us.
Okay, welcome back. Got a lot to talk about in a short amount of time. So honored to have with us, bringing him in all the way from Paris today. Ali Sabavi is with us. He's a member of the National Council of Resistance of Iran, Iran's parliament in exile. And he's taught at UCLA, University of California in Los Angeles, University of Michigan, spent decades analyzing Iran's politics and terrorism, nuclear proliferation and development there throughout the Middle East. Ali, do you think, given the fact that Iran's been knocked down pretty hard, their military's been knocked down hard, the regime, however, at least portions of the regime, very much still intact, do you think that the people of Iran have the fortitude to stand up again?
That's an excellent question. They certainly do. And if you look at the past 4 decades, the Iranian people have risen up at various occasions. Just let me mention a few more recent ones. Back in 1999, tens of thousands of Iranian students in the universities all over the country rose up. And of course, the regime responded with brute force. Ironically, one of the people who's the lead negotiator during the talks now, the Speaker of the Parliament, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, who's an IRGC general, was at that time the commander of the State Security Force in Tehran. And he boasted that he personally sat on motorcycles, roamed the streets of Tehran, and beat up the students. Then you had the 2009 uprising. Again, people on the verge of toppling this regime. Tehran was shaking under the mullah's feet. Unfortunately, as you remember, the Obama administration looked the other way, and they said this is a family affair, and we're not going to get involved. And so the mullahs again took advantage of Western acquiescence and ignorance to suppress the Iranian people. Then you had the 2017 uprising. You had the 2019 uprising. Then you had the 2022 uprising. Again, at that time in 2022, the Biden administration was in office. And what did they do? Basically nothing. And then you had the 2026 uprising. But what is different now than what we saw, let's say, in 1999 or in 2017 or even 2022 is that you have a robust, battle-tested, combat-ready, organized network of resistance units affiliated with the MEK who are active in 31 provinces of Iran, and the regime fears them very, very much because they target IRGC bases, they target bases of the paramilitary Basij, which of course acts as the shock troopers for the regime, and they also help organize and mobilize the protests. For example, during the 2026 uprising, They carried out 630 operations protecting the population from the IRGC. They engaged the IRGC, and they also inflicted casualties on the IRGC forces, to which the regime admitted. In fact, 5 days before the United States attacked Khamenei's compound in Tehran, on February 23rd, 250 members of the resistance units attacked the same compound and engaged the regime forces. 8,000 IRGC who were protecting that compound for several hours, and they lost about 100. Some were killed, some were arrested, but 150 retreated safely. And so there's a robust organized opposition within Iran itself. And so that force, combined with the millions of Iranians who reject this regime in its totality, provides a very potent, homegrown, indigenous force that can bring about change in Iran. What is required and is needed is for the international community to unequivocally side with the aspirations of the Iranian people, which is to overthrow the mullah's regime, and of course provide the necessary assistance. For example, overcome the internet blockade that we have seen in Iran ever since the war broke out in February, so that these networks can communicate together, so that news from inside Iran can come out. Also, I think there has to be more attention paid to what is happening inside Iran by the Western media. You hardly hear anything about the protests, about the executions inside Iran. And so I think the international community has a role to play, and that role, if they do play it, will be encouraging and empowering the people of Iran in toppling the mullahs.
So currently, how equipped is the resistance? Do they have the armament to do this, or do they need more?
No, certainly, I think, as they say, the more the merrier. Naturally, you know, when you have an entrenched IRGC that has a military force, that has all sorts of weaponry, that even deploys foreign mercenaries like from Iraq, from other countries, from Lebanon into Iran to keep the society in check. Naturally, the resistance has to be well organized, well equipped, but naturally there's no shortage of weaponry to be found. What, of course, as I said, is required is an acknowledgement, an open and public acknowledgement that yes, we support this movement, just like you saw the international community support the African National Congress, just like you saw the Reagan administration supporting the Solidarity movement. That is the kind of expression of support that is needed. Naturally, we do not, under any circumstances, advocate boots on the ground by foreign powers, nor are we seeking any financial assistance. What is required is political support. And I must also add that as we speak, there is a government in waiting. A provisional government has been announced based upon the 10-point plan of the NCRI President-elect Mrs. Rajabi, which is committed to freedom of expression, freedom of assembly, a non-nuclear Iran, the abolition of the death penalty, the gender equality, autonomy for Iranian ethnic minorities, and of course, peaceful coexistence with the rest of Iran's neighbors. So everything is in place. What remains is for the international community to finally, after 45 years of trying to engage this regime, to say enough is enough. We are now fully backing the Iranian people in their quest to get their freedom.
One last quick question. We have a blockade there at the Straits of Hormuz. Opening the strait, would that benefit the regime or the resistance?
Well, to be honest, I believe that this regime must not be allowed to have any resources whatsoever. Because the financial windfall that they obtain does not benefit the Iranian people, does not improve their lives. Remember that under Ahmadinejad, that lunatic president, Iran had $800 billion worth of oil revenues. Where did that go? It went to Syria, it went to Lebanon, it went to the Houthis in Yemen and other proxy groups that the regime had.
Right.
It was spent on the nuclear weapons program, which, by the way, has cost the Iranian people close to $2 trillion. So clearly, every effort must be made to deny the regime the resources with which it suppresses the Iranian people. And again, I want to emphasize the importance of the rally on June 20th here in Paris by 100,000 Iranians from both sides of the Atlantic and their international supporters, and the message that they will carry for all governments around the world.
When will that be?
June 20th, a week from tomorrow.
June 20th, a week from tomorrow. Well, thank you. You're fascinating. Thank you for your time. I know it's late in the evening there. Thank you for your time. I look forward to talking to you often. Let me say to our viewers and listeners, you can certainly check out his work there, the National Council of Resistance of Iran. There's a picture of that landing page, and check out more of what's going on. Thank you so much, sir, for your time. Let's stay connected.
Thank you very much, Perry. Really appreciative of the time you gave me.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you.
Since 1934, Grange Co-op has been more than just a store. We've been a cornerstone of our community, owned by people like you. We proudly offer top-quality farm and ranch supplies, including our own Rogue feed, as well as workwear, Western apparel, garden essentials, and pet care products. By signing up as a Grange Rewards customer, you not only enjoy exclusive benefits like special offers and one